Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome, all of Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog peoples of the world. I hope everyone is doing well. And welcome all to episode, I think it's actually 352, I believe. I think we're actually 352 of Pen and Pixels. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is the show that we do here every Tuesday, focusing on story and narrative in games. And this, of course, is continuing our focus on the game, which is sponsored by Pegasus Spiele. And it is, of course, Talisman Adventures, as we continue with the Shifty Lad and the Curse of the Servant's Coin. Before we go any further, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us here on the channel. If you have not done so already, please make sure to support us by following us here at GogCom's Twitch channel. Please subscribe to us here on GogCom's Twitch channel because you can get the awesome custom sub badges and emotes to use everywhere across Twitch, DRM free as always, of course. And if you haven't done so, please click through to our individual channels because we have our own individual Patreons and subsystems and things like that we play as well. This is the last Pen and Pixels of November, and starting next month, we're going to have, again, more Talisman Adventures and Ghosts of Saltmarsh, but I'll also be playing Road Warden a little bit next month as well, as we continue to move forward in that game. I'm enjoying that thing a lot. I think what we're probably going to do is we're going to do one full run of it as we continue to get through, because it's time limited. And once that runs over, then that will be it for the game on the channel, and I'll move on to something else. And I think that will be a good way to make sure that we don't spend forever on it, but that we get a good long playthrough, because I think people have enjoyed it. I certainly have, and I think it'll be fun to do more of that as we go down the line. But otherwise, we have got more D&D coming up, folks, because it is just about the end of November. Also, belated happy Thanksgiving in the United States to all those who celebrated. Also, congratulations. I see that the United States won their game against Iran, and so they are on to the knockout stage of the World Cup, which I have not watched any of because it should not be in Qatar. But anyway, regardless, I was glad to see that they advanced, and good luck to all those whose countries. I think England won 3-0 against Wales too. So I'm sorry that the my Welsh players today will not have a team going forward into the knockout stage. But I am very happy to see that there are some people whose countries' teams are doing pretty well. So that's all that. Yeah, England beat Wales. I know. I saw that. So, but we will see how this goes as we move on. But it's good to see everybody, and Wales has its own national anthem. Otherwise, though, I'm going to move on and introduce us to all of the amazing players. So I'm going to unmute myself, apologize unreservedly for having interrupted them, and then I'm going to unmute them. And last but certainly not least, I'm going to head over to reveal to you the incredible crew that is here, two of whom, sadly, who may not care in the least about football, but two of whom their country lost today in the stages, and so Wales will not be continuing. England defeated Wales, and so England continues to be an evil empire by holding on to Wales, and then also evil by defeating them in World Cup. I don't know where I'm going with that.
So we didn't get a touchdown.
Yeah, exactly.
You did not win sports ball.
You did not win sports ball in that particular case. I have not watched any of it because I don't want to support the World Cup. But yeah, exactly. I had a feeling it wouldn't work that much. I you wouldn't be too broken up about it. Now, if I said something to the effect of Wales has announced they will never allow a metal concert again, that I have a feeling would have a different effect, especially on Sabre, I'm guessing,
Right, yeah.
Or if I said that
concerts in Wales?
Right.
Bands never come to Wales. They don't even go to Cardiff, which is like our only city.
You'd think that they would. You'd think that it would be well suited for that. That's unfortunate. All right. Well, then for Bruce, maybe like if I said that they would no longer allow dogs in Wales, that would be brutal at the same level, right? At the same kind of feeling.
You could, if you'd replaced football with rugby, I would have cared, because rugby is a sport that matters, whereas football
does not.
We call it wuss ball in my family because no one hurts each other.
Wuss ball.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. Well, it is a pleasure to have the GOG crew with me, and since it gets late for them much earlier than it does for us, so to speak, because it's late over there, I want to get moving right away, and so I will head to the inimitable stream team leader, the great and wonderful Pyron Jade. It's good to see you, Pyron. I hope all is well. Also, as I recall, Germany is doing fairly well in the World Cup. He said ? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Nobody here cares about. So why am I even bringing any of it up? It doesn't matter.
Hello, my name is Pyron. I'm German. I don't drink beer and I don't know anything about soccer.
That's fair enough. How are you doing, Pyron, otherwise, and who are you playing in our game today?
I think I'm doing actually quite fine. I had a lot more being on streams in the last few weeks than I had for a long time, and I had a blast. So that's a good thing. And now I'm a stream again, and I'm going to have a blast again if I don't blast myself off or something like that, because apparently I nearly killed myself at the last stream.
That's true. Can confirm,
yes.
Looking at 4 out of 27 life. Yes, can confirm.
And but I had a parent-teacher conference today. So those are things that happening in my life, my exciting life. But now I'm here, and I'm going to live ferociously through Regina, who's a warrior sprite and likes to hit things, which can be very, how do you say, cathartic?
Yes, absolutely, can be cathartic. And I feel like it is for Regina. Gets a little twitchy if she doesn't hit things most of the time. And they've had their opportunity. Bandits, crocodiles, you name it. They've had their opportunity to get a little bit of attacks in. But it's
but now she's on her way to not be the smallest member of the party anymore, with Hweddle now being like 2.5 foot tall, if I remember correctly from last time.
Yep.
So things are scary in a way that are scary, and let's see how that goes.
I'm excited to see how Regina gets up to things today in the adventure. Always a pleasure to have Pyron with us. Also a pleasure to have Sabre with us as always. Dark Sabre, thank you very much for the dashboard and all that kind of good stuff. And since we've all established how little anybody cares about this, I won't ask about soccer. Instead, I'll just say, how's life in the universe with you, and who are you playing in our adventure today?
It's been very good. As we were talking about earlier, been having some fun sessions of Terraria over on my channel on Saturdays. Although this Saturday, by special request from Mr. Mike Smith himself, we're going to be playing some Phasmophobia because he's not had enough pain being my expendable intern yet. Mm-hmm. He didn't learn after Phasmophobia the 2 times. He's not learned after Barony. I like this man. Willful enthusiasm to throw himself face first into danger again and again. That's what I look for in an intern.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. It's weird.
Yeah. And other than that, I've been playing a lot of Europa Universalis 4 since it came out on GOG, and did the release stream of that on Sunday. And it's like, I've been replaying it, going like, right, I did well. I bet I could do better. So just been playing that a lot because I'm probably going to stream that again on Sunday as well, because there's loads after the stream, I forgot to mention this mechanic and I didn't go over these cool things you can do. And
it always seems to me whenever I'm lurking watching that with you that it just feels like there's just a bunch of like movement on the screen, and then every so often you hit a button and like 5 different spreadsheet menus pop up, and I'm just like okay, like, and just like, well, maybe I should want to do the Batmobile tanks after all. Maybe they'll be a lot simpler.
You get like a matrix point with it where you don't really see the text or anything. You just sort of see all the underlying code. You're just like, that, now that, now that.
Yep. Cookie clicker, but far more involved. But who are you playing in our game today, sir?
And tonight I will be back in the shoes of Reginald Shoon, who, while lagging behind on becoming the smallest member of the party,
True.
is definitely a bit more wooden than usual, since he has also been afflicted by this curse.
It's true. It has been a question of whether they can get rid of the curse before all of them end up getting small and then eventually turning into wooden dolls, because that's the kind of curse that we manage here.
Well, luckily, only
on
one
the
of us
channel.
was stupid enough to touch it. And he wasn't stupid enough to bite it.
That's true. We will see whether or not the ritual of cleansing will be done in time to save a certain musician in the party, but we'll talk about that in just a bit. Always a pleasure to have Saber with us, and also a pleasure, as always, to have one peripheral Mike with us, who apparently likes being an intern and likes being scared, and so just subjects himself to punishment on a regular basis. Well, listen, whatever makes you pleased in this life, I have nothing against that. Mike, it's good to see you. I guess you can confirm that you are enjoying being an intern and being trolled by Saber, and whether that's true. Can you confirm that? And also, who are you playing in our session today?
I am always in enjoyment of being trolled by both Saber and Pyron in the realm of Barony and beyond. To be honest with you, it's incredibly enjoyable. I think I'm leaning into the fact that I don't like scary games, especially with Phasmophobia, and it's a little bit like a thrill ride that I can just sort of take off my face if it gets a little bit too much. I think I get to the point where it's less like, oh, it's spooky, because I'm with a group of people playing Phasmo. It's scary, and it's more. It ventures slightly into like grown-up Scooby-Doo. Like, it's jumpy, but it's also wacky as well. Like, it's somewhere between a horror movie and Scooby-Doo. And I'm okay with that. I'm on board for that vibe. So you can find myself and Saber and probably some regular people Saturday where I'll be playing in VR Phasmophobia. And I'm going to be, for science, I'm going to be testing whether or not the ghost gets confused if a VR player lies on the ground. 100%.
It like curled up in the fetal
100%.
position, or actually.
Pretty much.
Okay,
if you lower yourself to below a certain height, the ghost cannot. It basically clips through you. So I'm going to have to lay it on the ground. So I'll probably have my stream on at the same time, so you can literally just see me hit the deck.
So I was going to say, because like you're not going to go looking for the ghost, you're just going to lie down, and then the ghost will never come and get you. Is that the the idea?
So no, I'm an intern. I've got a job to do.
Oh, okay.
I got to do work. I got to get paid.
Right.
I don't do this stuff for free.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Get paid.
I'm interested about the rate of pay. I'm very curious on
slowly, glacial.
Yeah, glacial. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a glacial rate of pay. So moving swiftly on to tonight's stream, I'll be playing or stepping back into I'd say boots, but I'm not 100% sure he wears boots. I think he's barefoot at this point. The clad shoes of Lump, who is our world-walking troll warrior, who has an eye for efficiency when it comes to fighting. Let's put it that way. Is he sees something, he doesn't want it there anymore, it turns into a red mist, and that's kind of the way he likes it.
Yep.
So looking forward to seeing, hopefully his dear friends will be cured soon.
Yeah, I appreciate the way that Lump cuts through. Thank you for the follow, the Gabe, on GOG.com. I love the way that Lump cuts through all the complications to just the very simple thing of see thing, hit thing, with occasional moments,
hit thing, step over thing,
but with occasional moments of a very solid moral core that surprise people. Let us not forget there have been times when Lump was surprising.
Indeed, his audiobook comes out in a few weeks. His inspirational audiobook comes out in a few weeks.
I'll be like, the whole thing is just hit, and then like 10 seconds, don't hit. Don't
True
hit.
self inside you.
It'll be inspiring. I am very excited for that. I know you're wearing the Lump shirt today as well, Mike. Always a pleasure to have Mike with us, and also a pleasure, of course, to welcome Undeveloped Bruce back to the channel. Good to see you, Bruce. I hope all is well. Obviously, the most important question is not how you're doing, but how the dogs are doing. How are the dogs doing today, and then who are you playing in our session today?
The dogs are doing great today. They're really happy because they hate going for walks outside when it's cold. And I was so busy today getting my car's MOT sorted and stuff that I had to give them indoors entertainment all day. And so they're loving it. They're like, I have not moved from this sofa all day. Mammy has not got me down. We've just been out in the yard. and they're loving it. And I feel like I've failed them, but they don't feel like they've been failed at all.
Yeah, no, they feel like it's a success. Definitely.
Yeah. Moog's been in her pajamas all day. They've had a new treat, which is sprats, which are like these little fish. So I get to like look at them and look into their little fishy eyes before I feed them to the dogs. It's always fun for a vegan to do.
Did you
Yeah,
say
so the dogs are great.
pajamas? Did you say was in the pajamas the whole day?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Moog's she's so thin, you know, she gets cold and it's coming into winter now, you know, so she has little pajamas. Mervin doesn't need pajamas because he's a chunky boy, but Moog needs pajamas.
I don't understand why there has not been a picture made available to the members of this crew of Moog in pajamas yet. I don't understand why that hasn't happened.
That will be made available.
Yes, please. I would love to see it. When not taking care of your dogs by not, in fact, failing them, but succeeding highly, who are you playing in our game today?
Yep, I'm playing Chwedl Weds Cragman, the dwarven minstrel whose mission it is to prove that the elves spreading their lore in their little books are liars. There was no big wizard man, no magic. He didn't make the sentinels or the talismans. That was all good dwarven labor that has been wiped and erased unfairly
Conspiracy.
from our
Yeah.
history.
Definitely. Conspiracy.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, but he has made some questionable decisions. And I just want to put it out there that I, as a player, did not at all support any of Chwedl's decisions to lick any coins or, you know, jump into a crocodile river. None of that was me. That was all him.
Yep.
I just want that to be clear.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I get it. You have to invest yourself in the life of your character, and that's what you've clearly done in this case. And
Yeah.
And as a result, Chwedl is looking a little shorter these days, by which we mean about maybe 2 feet, 2.5 feet, something like that. And we will talk about why that is, but it is always a pleasure to have Bruce with us. Thank you, Bruce. Let's fire up some Willow in the Light, one of my favorites, chat, and let's talk about what happened in our last session. There we go. In our last session, the party has been dealing with essentially a curse. They discovered that at one of the places, one of the inns that they had been traveling to, that the inn patrons and the inn owners had left, apparently, or been taken away. And what was left in their place were a series of these strange-looking and quite realistic, somewhat, wooden dolls that were appropriately creepy. I believe we managed to freak Bruce out quite a bit, in fact, about the existence of those dolls. So the party decided very clearly it was a curse, and the curse needed to be dealt with, whether that was by touching or biting the coin or doing all that other stuff, or whether it was by something else. They found a gold coin within the inn, and in fact, when Weddle did do these things previously mentioned, clearly a curse was placed upon Weddle, and Weddle has, for want of a better term, been getting more wooden ever since, more like a wooden doll on a regular basis, and is not the only one to have dealt with that, because Reginald as well has been affected by this curse, although is not quite as far down the progress towards dolldom as Weddle is. So Lump and Regina, not wanting to lose their friends and party members to permanent dolldom, decided they needed to save not only them but the people in the inn, and traveled across the river to the mysterious temple, where they met a priestess named Treya, who offered to help them if they would be willing to help the temple in turn. They agreed to do this, and what they decided to do was to basically drive out a group of bandits which had been raiding the temple and taking its treasures. And they did, in fact, manage to set a kind of an ambush, sort of, for the bandits, managed to fight back and destroy most, although not all of them. And at the end of our session last, the discovery that was made was that Treya felt that the temple had now believed that the party had done a worthy service. There were many different things they could have done. They chose to do this one. They did it well. And so now they would be able to help them. But Reginald and Weddle both fell unconscious. And when they came to, Reginald was considerably more wooden, while Weddle was considerably more small and wooden. And so Weddle now is about 2 to 2.5 feet tall. and is getting ever closer to the world of Daldom. And so as we hand things back over to the party, I will remind them just very quickly about where things stand. First of all, Lump, who is feeling perfectly fine, at least life-wise, currently has 27 out of 27 life, but only 1 out of 12 armor. So some of this will need to be refit, I believe, during the course of rest that Lump wants to engage in at some point. And also has 1 or 2 6 light fate. This is always a little shaky because I know you start with different amounts. Do you have 1 Lump or 2 to start?
Yeah, I'll start with 1.
You start with 1, okay.
Yeah.
Hweddle, you have 15 out of 30 life. And at the moment, I had you to begin with here. You were down to, I should say, 1 out of 7 light fate, but you may start with 1 more than that. Do you start with 2? Or do you start with 1?
Yeah.
You start with 2.
I start with 2.
Okay. And you have 3 out of 5 spell points after effective use of those spells. I don't know if you have any spells that involve, protect Wooden Doll from danger, but maybe you want to get working on researching that.
Extinguish fire.
Regina is the one who really took it on the chin last time, and in the stomach, and in the arm, and in the head, and took that to the extent of 4 out of 27 life. Still has 12 out of 12 armor, though, I believe, because the attacks that she took actually ignored armor, and had 0 out of 7 light fate, but begins with 2. Regina, is it 2?
Yes.
Okay. And last but certainly not least, our resident ghoul druid, Reginald, had, by my count, 14 out of 19 life. I had 2 out of 2 life for your peddler's cloak at the moment, or 2 points, I think, is where it's at. And then 2 out of 7 light fate is where I have you there. And 3 out of 6 spell points.
I've got myself, I think. Yeah, 2 out of 6 I have myself.
Oh, 2 out of 6. Okay. And the other thing is that you have a wand. Now, this is, you do not know how many charges. I am keeping track of that. But the wand has been used to basically restore life points to the peddler's cloak. We don't know how long that's going to last. We will see. But in any case, and Reginald currently is in possession of this coin, which is not at all cursing him and everybody in the party to permanent Daldom.
Priestess took that as offers.
Oh, just took it. That's right. Okay, yes. At the end.
Yeah, she took it when we first arrived. When we explained the situation, she's like, "Okay, let me take that."
Let me take that. That's right. That's right. So that's right. So does not have that. I had in big capital letters has coin, but I should say did have coin. All right. So we've got that. Of course, we also have Boots, the spirit follower of Reginald, and
if things pick up, he may be able to pick me up and carry me around.
Oh, okay, well, that'll be fine then. Then you'll just
like a
play
dog with a
Boots.
stick.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure that'll work perfectly well.
We can use Hweddle to play fetch with.
It's true, no, Hweddle can't even play their instrument. That's right. That's right. They now have the equivalent of a cello, is sort of what that's become. So yeah, exactly. It's sort of like you hit a lot of bass notes. And last but certainly not least, just to set up the last bit, is I will have 4 Dark Fate to begin, 1 for each of these players. Not that Dark Fate gets used in any negative way in this game, but I'm just letting you all know that does exist. So at the very end of our session last time, Treya said that you had earned the aid and help of the temple and brought you with her and the rest of the acolytes there to the temple's large central chamber. Side note, it's always weird for me now to talk about things like acolytes because in my novel Greyshade, acolytes are actually assassins who kill in the name of their god. So it's a very different kind of acolyte. Not that acolyte, not the Greyshade acolyte, different acolyte. So 6 robed acolytes have gathered. And wordlessly, as you are watching, they form a circle around strange runic symbols on the floor. I should mention before I go on, you had all suggested that you wanted to go there immediately because of what was happening to Reginald and Hweddle, like not wait around, like it was kind of picking up. So I'm letting you know as to why this was sort of happening, as we begin the session. Treya takes the servant's coin and places it on a pedestal at the center of the room, and actually not only uses gloves, but is also using a pair of what look like metal tongs, like you would use for wood or, like kindling or whatever, and just like picks it up and gingerly places it on the pedestal. They then slip a small ritual dagger from her robes, and she gestures to Reginald and Hweddle to come forward. So what I'm going to ask here is the party members are going to have to, Reginald and Weddle specifically, are going to have to test one last time to resist a final effect before taking your place in the circle, almost as if it is responding to the power of that place and therefore is increasing. Yeah, it's like getting the ring close to the cracks of doom, right? Like that kind of deal. So I'm going to ask the party then. I'm going to ask Reginald and Weddle to test, and I need to double check and make sure what the test is because it's been a while. Okay. It is, yes. Okay, so it is the resisting curse test. All right. So you need to make a craft test. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Sorry. You've already been affected by it. Fortitude. So a fortitude resolve test I will need from both Reginald and Weddle. And so I will start with Weddle. Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'll start with Reginald. And so using the handy-dandy Talisman RPG skill check sheet brought to you by Pyron Jade, I will begin by asking if, first of all, you have the skill in question, Reginald.
Which skill again, sorry?
So this is Fortitude, and it's Resolve is what we're looking at.
No, I have good resolve, but I don't have the Fortitude skill.
Okay, so in that case, you're going to be rolling a 3d6.
Okay. No, you know what? Let's just go with it. The day is young.
It's true.
10.
I see. So a 10, well, as you are sort of, walking forward slowly, you find yourself walking even more slowly. And Reginald, your legs stiffen up and just, and you fall basically on your face. You don't take any damage, but you feel your arms and legs stiff by your side. You're not in the circle yet. Yeah. And so Treya kind of looks at the rest of you and says, "You must be brought within the circle."
Okay, okay.
Does Weddle want to help?
Yeah, Weddle's going that way anyway. I'll get him.
All right, so we have Regina the Sprite is helping. Weddle, the 2-foot almost wooden doll, is helping. I don't suppose we have a troll that might be interested in actually helping move this stiffened creature into the middle of the circle. Anyway, so you do manage to roll Reginald the rest of the way, basically. Weddle, same for you. I need you to do that test. You have Fortitude.
Nah, I don't need Fortitude. I just need...
Who needs Fortitude? You need 3d6.
In another 3 minutes, Regina will be the second tallest. Yeah, it's looking that way.
I have 43.
10!
Well,
yes.
10. And do I see...
Your legs stiffen.
A worse 10.
Oh, no.
Yeah, do I note there is a 1 there? I see that on the Kismet die, and I just happen to think there might be a dark fate that comes out of that.
You know what? This is actually really nice about this game. We can finally do something for our DM. Again and again.
That's right. Help me out with just some fate.
Yeah, there's such a thing as giving too much, though.
Yes, that's true. That's true. No, it is the season of giving. It is.
I was just going to say, it is.
But we can be too generous.
It's the 29th, damn it. It's still November.
That's true. Hey, I give thanks to you as a U.S. Thanksgiving person recently for that.
Could hear Mariah Carey in the background.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want so much for Christmas. Dark fate is all I need. Okay, so Weddle, you as you sort of are waddling forward, and getting there, you can feel your body sort of getting a little shorter, and then with a thunk, you fall over, and Weddle is not moving, and actually Weddle probably can't even respond at the moment. Yeah, you're looking basically at what looks like almost certainly a wooden doll, or very close to it.
I will pick Weddle up immediately and carry Weddle and Reginald into the circle.
Okay. Once that is done, Treya puts you, basically sort of directs Lump as to where to put Weddle.
Yep.
So you kind of like stand Weddle up in the place where it was questioned, and same thing with Reginald.
There's a
and-
moment where you just slide down. He's like, chunk.
Yeah, they kind of balance him.
Sorry.
Well, puts kind of like a
Balancing
stick to
against each
balance
other.
Reginald. Right, exactly, yeah. A second acolyte comes forward with what looks like a silver chalice. Now, as they're doing this, Treya informs you that you may, if you wish, participate in the ritual, but are not required to do so. And Treya in particular says that anyone with particular magic talent might be well suited to be part of the ritual, which happens to be the two people sitting inside the circle to begin with. So I assume that means, but you tell me if Regina and Lump want to then stay outside the circle, not being the magical types, and watch, but correct me if I'm wrong, if that's the case.
So they tell us we can help if we're magic.
They tell you if you can help your magic, and they say, Treya says that there may be some resistance to this that you might want to watch for if you stay outside the circle.
I'm really good at overcoming resistance. Also, I think I'm magic.
Fair enough. You just want to say that, like in general? You just
Yes, I say that. I say that to Treya.
And
That
Treya
is
sort of
exactly
nods
what I
solemnly.
say.
Nods solemnly, and she says, I have no doubt of it. I don't suppose you can manifest that magic in a spell sort of way.
No, my magic usually kills people.
And Treya kind of sort of looks at you and then looks over at Lump and sort of gives you the look of Lump of, do you have any thoughts about Regina's magical ability type of look? Like, is this true?
Lump points over to Weddle and goes, friendship magic, strong friendship.
And so...
And sprites are also magic. And what he says.
So Treya nods and kind of says, undoubtedly they are. We will continue with the ritual then. And after sort of, bowing slightly respectfully, asks you to all to take your place and says, it is required that you awake your faith. Says that just generally in the room. And holding your hand firmly in theirs, and I guess we'll begin with Reginald, Treya looks at you and asks, says to you, Reginald, for this ritual to function, we will need a bit of your blood. That means I will need to slice open your palm. Is this all right?
If you can get her out of me, you're welcome to it.
And she sort of, kind of with difficulty makes out what you said. And then slices open your palm. 3 drops of blood drip into the silver chalice. This means, by the way, that you are going to take a wound, Reginald. And I don't think we've had an opportunity to talk too much about wounds, but I did want to mention what that actually is. So when you take a wound, it is basically a separate effect, and it means that you've taken an injury of some sort that hinders your ability to function normally. You suffer a -2 penalty to all actions while the wound remains, and if you were to take a number of wounds equal to your mettle or your resolve, whichever is higher, you would not awaken from unconsciousness until one of them is healed, even if your life is fully restored. However, wounds can be healed through natural healing or first aid or magical effects. So during kind of your downtime action, essentially, someone could try to heal that wound. But I'm just letting you know that that's the case. You're not going to lose any life from it, but it is a ritual wound that has been inflicted. Weddle, the same question is asked of you, but frankly, you're not really in much of a position to say anything about it as a doll. But I will put that out there that you could probably try to like rock back and forth and avoid it if you wanted to. I don't want to, but you're kind of pretty far gone on the doll chart. Yeah, pretty much. So assuming you're okay with this, Weddle, to the extent that you can be, it just sort of rocks back and forth. So the same thing happens. You also receive a wound. And interestingly, if you're all watching the silver chalice, what drops from Weddle's, not palm, but basically sort of the arm as the blood drops into the chalice looks turgid and almost sawdusty. It looks like almost sap from a tree rather than blood from a person. And so this is very touch and go as far as getting Weddle saved in particular. Treya then nods to each of you standing outside the circle and says, "As we work to undo this curse, the Talisman will fight back against us. If you are skilled," she already talked about the magical arts thing. "The rest of you, Lump and Regina, you must be ready to defend your friends, but do not pull them from the circle, and do not step inside it, no matter what happens." And she kind of looks to make sure that you understand. And she nods, seeing your hand.
Does flying into the circle count as stepping into it?
Yes, she says, very wide-eyed.
Okay.
Defend from what?
And she says, "I think my telling you would not be wise, and it will manifest differently. It will be dark. You must be ready." And
Lump just takes his massive hands and just cracks his knuckles in both hands.
Okay. So Treya raises their hands to signal to the others, and the ritual begins. As one, the acolytes begin chanting a complicated pattern of unknown words, and they move their hands and arms in choreographed gestures. Nobody showed you the moves or taught you the words, but as their power swells forth in the chamber, Weddle and Reginald inside the circle, you actually feel yourselves, Weddle with what's left of your fading consciousness, actually thinking the words in your head. And Reginald, you find yourself almost kind of like muttering them out loud, even though, as I say, no one's ever taught them to you. Light, dim at first, but gaining steadily in intensity, begins to close in from the edges of the room, converging on the pedestal at the center. And the hairs on everyone's arms and on your heads begins to stand on end as an electrical charge feels like it's gathering in the air, kind of crackling. The cursed talisman, though, does not seem ready to surrender easily. Clouds of baleful black smoke emerge from the coin, rumbling angrily as the wizard's long-stored power fights back against the acolytes and their ritual of binding light. Floating out of the cloud is a shadowy figure. Its arms are outstretched, and its mouth gapes in a silent scream. It rushes towards the nearest acolyte and begins to drain the life from the unlucky young man. The light begins to falter. Now, the way this works is we've got two separate things going on at the same time. Inside the circle, you are going to be, Weddle and Reginald, making craft tests, and I'll explain how that works in a minute to try to keep things going. Outside the circle, Regina and Lump are basically going to be doing what they can to engage the apparitions to keep them from attacking the participants and disrupting the rituals. So basically, that's going to be happening in each of these cases. It's not exactly combat, but it definitely is a series of tests. And so we need some better music for this, I think. Let's go with, how about that? There we go. Okay, so here we go. Chat, buckle up. We're going to see whether we can get these folks to save themselves. I have no doubt they will manage properly.
Just gonna really quickly just slide the dollified villagers into the circle as well that we brought along with us. The family of 4 that we brought with us.
Right.
Completely forgot about that.
Yeah, because you didn't bring, now I want to be clear too, you didn't bring everyone in the inn, right? You just brought the...
No, it was like it was 3 or 4 random dolls, I believe.
Okay.
But essentially everyone who was in the inn. There's like a few people in the inn.
So, okay, I will come back to that. Okay, so you slide those into the circle. So we'll start with the people inside the circle first. So as you were going along, Reginald and Weddle, you're going to need to make a craft test to follow along with the appropriate gestures. And every round, the difficulty of this is going to increase. And so you need to succeed basically a certain number of times. You don't know how many times. When you fail, bad things happen. When you succeed, the magic has been contained. Now, Weddle, there is a problem for you because you are really not very capable of speaking at all. So for you, I'm going to have to give you a minus to this test. You're going to get a -1. You can think, but you obviously can't, speak all that well. Reginald, you can speak enough to be heard. If you had one more sort of failure of the test along the way, then you'd be in Hweddle's position pretty much, or similar to it. So that's the deal with that. So you can decide which order you want to go. If you want it to be Reginald first and Hweddle, or the other way around, doesn't really matter, because both of you are working together to try to make this happen. So you tell me what you'd prefer.
It's all good with me. I mean, I imagine when it comes to craft, I'm probably a bit craftier than Hweddle. At least in the purely statistical sense.
I don't know about that.
Craft off. Let's do this.
Yeah, okay. Pause everything. We're having a craft off.
Having a craft off. Craft off. All right. It's time to solve some really hard rebuses and crosswords. Okay. So, Reginald, you're going to start with your craft test first, and then we'll go down to Hweddle, and that will be in this first round. So, you're making a craft test. Now, this is not really a skill as such, so this is just a matter of using your aspect to do this. So, your aspect. So 3d6 is what you're going to be using, and you're going to be adding your craft, which I think is what is your bonus? Right, you have a craft of wait a minute. 6? Is that what you have?
Yes.
6. Okay. All right. So you're going to be starting with 3d6. And you are going to be adding 6 to it for this.
Okay. Let's go. At least it's aesthetically pleasing.
It is aesthetically pleasing. 3d6 plus 6 leading to a 12. That is a success. It wasn't by a lot, but you did succeed. You did succeed, though. And so the magic is contained. That's one success. So note that in chat, please. We have one success so far. Hweddle, your turn to see if you can keep things up as a wooden doll with a negative.
Come on, Hweddle. We believe in you.
So in your case, we've got, you have a craft, I think, of, wait a second. You got a,
It's
no.
5. I instantly lost the craft off.
Instantaneously. So you've got a craft of 5. So we're looking at 3d6 plus 5 minus 1. So basically 3d6 plus 4 is what that works out to. Here we go. 3d6 plus 4. Look at that. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, you won.
It's not what you got, it's what you do with it.
Stop the magic. Absolutely. Okay. Good stuff. 2 successes, chat,
Record
so far.
screech in the background.
2 successes. Now, for Regina and Lump, this shadow that is attacking one of the acolytes. Now, remember, you cannot step inside the circle or bad things will happen. So you're going to have to figure out how to manage that, basically, how you want to deal with that.
Is the shadow inside the circle?
The shadow is broken out of the circle. The acolytes are basically right on the edge. So they are, like chanting
Edge,
outside the circle.
They
are on the outside of the circle, the outside
These
edge.
are the 6 acolytes, yes?
And there are 6 of them, yes. So this one has come over there.
Good.
So you can attack this apparition as normal, and you'll have to think about how you want to approach it. I'm actually trying to decide whether you would know, whether any of you would have... See, Reginald would know exactly what the deal is with an apparition. Actually, Reginald, you can still speak enough that you could well, okay, here's what I'll say. Because you're chanting the words, you're kind of busy. But if you want, you could break off from chanting to basically be like, and give them information about this apparition. But doing that means you're going to have a failure for the ritual. One of your tests will be a failure, Reginald. So you either let Regina Lump figure it out or whatever.
I think he'd be a bit focused on the ritual right now.
I had a feeling, yeah.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We're smart.
All right, Regina and
We
Lump,
got smarts.
you've got an apparition. You can decide how the two of you want to go, what order you want to go in. This thing is like Dementor style, or sucking in the energy from this acolyte.
Who goes? Lump, do you want to go first, or shall I go first?
I will go first because I'm not 100% sure mine's going to do much. I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Because my plan is to hit it with a torch.
Okay, excellent stuff.
Because the lady said it's going to be dark, And the torch is very obviously the opposite of dark, so that's what Regina is planning. She might set an acolyte on fire. We want to see.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
How close are we to this creature?
Oh, you can be. I mean, you were right there. You can be right on top of it
So
if you want.
it's right next. It's basically there's no like run up or anything like that. It's
No.
pretty much next to
No, I
us.
mean you're 5 feet maybe, but like you could just walk up to it.
Sweet. Okay, so wibbly apparition, basically, bit like a ghost. Has it got like what's the most solid looking bit of it?
It's really hard to say. It has it feels like you're looking at a kind of wispy humanoid-like form, but it's even as you're looking at it, it's kind of, it's insubstantial. It keeps kind of like amoeba-like, sort of losing its arms and gaining it again. There's no real substantial part of it, and it is a cloud of darkness, by the way, not a sort of typical white sheeted ghost or something going blue. Yeah.
So
it doesn't really
Can I
have
make
a
out-
solid bit.
can I make out the face bit of this not solid bit?
Can you make out the face?
Because you said
of
it's
the
good.
solid
It has like a mouth that's going towards one of the acolytes.
Yes,
right? There's like an
yes,
outstretched
there is
hand
kind
and
of
like
a face. Yes, like
sort of, yeah.
but in a silent
Cool.
sort of,
Aim for the mouth.
'Kay.
Immediately aim for the face.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just punch it because our lump is a pacifist.
Okay.
Any problems? Pacifist. Let's go. Custom roller. 3d6 plus numbers. Oh God, what is that number? Okay, plus that. Excellent stuff. No, that's minus. Definitely don't want a minus. That would be a 21.
So your fist absolutely hits it, and you just punch right through it. You do nothing to it at all.
Cool. Excellent.
It just, it's sort of, instead it kind of for a moment looks back at you. Like open mouth screamed at you, but
Cool. That's fine. Did it stare at me for a second?
it just sort of, it almost, I mean, I guess so. It kind of looked in your general direction.
Okay, that was kind of
yes.
what Lump was expecting to happen. If it looked at me or it sort of turned in my direction, there's a definitive kind of come on then motion from Lump.
Well, and you're going to get that. So you would have hit your target for full damage, but you do no damage because of this. And however, because this is a standard success, it was not a great success, sadly. Because it was a standard success, it means that your opponent is going to hit you for half damage. And so, let me pull up my dice roller, one of the few times that I roll dice in the game, actually. Okay, I have a little bit of bad news about this attack on you, Lump. And that is that the damage that has been done to you is psychic in nature, and it ignores armor. Not that you had a lot of it left anyway, but, so you take this psychic damage as you were just hit by it. But that's all. You were just sort of hit by that amount. Okay. So there was that. Regina, you are up next. This thing is still going, basically focusing its attention on the acolyte.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a torch at it.
Okay. I guess I would say that's a ranged attack.
But as it's the start of the combat, I would like to use the tactician feature first and get my 3 die rolls ready.
Okay.
Where do I don't have. I have to do a new one. 1 moment. 3d6.
By the way,
Roll. So it's a 6, a 1, and a 5.
6 and a 1 of 5. First of all, thank you, Death Adder, for the follow. Welcome to the DRM free community. Okay, 6, 1 of 5. So that hits.
Yes.
That's the good news.
Wait. No, that's only my.
Oh,
that's
I'm sorry,
only
tactician.
my
Your
tactician. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm going to attack now with throwing the thingy.
Now you're going to throw the torch. So we're going to say that
Now I'm
that's-
going to throw the torch.
we're going to say this is a ranged attack. I should have asked Lump.
Yes.
You do not have a psychic damage modifier, do you?
No.
I'm guessing you don't. Okay. Just wanted to check. Okay, so you're going to throw the torch. I would say we're looking at a ranged attack here. I don't know though whether we can call this having like, throwing one of your javelins or something like that. So, I mean, I'm trying to decide if you've like an ability in like thrown weapon.
I have throwing stuff as an ability, like throw weapons, which I also have a focus in spears and a focus in rocks, but I think maybe I can use it without the focus.
Let's do that, yeah. So that would just be 3d6 plus aspect then.
Yes, that would
I
be.
apologised. I have a psychic damage modifier of 2.
Ah,
apparently. I
okay.
don't know
I'll come
how.
back to that in a minute, Lump. I'll come back
Okay.
to that in a minute. Okay, go ahead, Regina.
14 and a 1 for the DM, because I'm just that nice.
I appreciate it.
But I can... yeah.
It's all right. I should have already used this to.
And
pump
I'm
up
going to
this-
replace the 2 with the 5 from my tactician rolls for a great success.
Okay.
Just in case it helps.
Now, do you have a psychic? Do you have a psychic damage modifier by chance, Regina?
I have the one that is like on the sheet that is based on my... Because I do have a 3 in craft, that is the psychic damage modifier, but it's not... I don't think the torch has one. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll come. So let me explain how that works then. So, Lump, when you hit it, you punch right through it, but because of apparently the psychic damage modifier, it may be something about your level of will or your, desire for something to, like you want this thing destroyed, one way or the other. And as a consequence, you do actually, when this happens, hit the thing a little bit. You obviously punch right through it, but you can feel the kind of sizzling. It's strange. It's almost like plunging your hand out of game for a minute into like dry ice or something, but in game something that is incredibly cold and thus also burning at the same time. So you don't take damage except for the damage that it did to you when it hit back, but you were going to have done 2 damage to it. So I'm just going to make a little note of that for your psychic modifier. Regina, I think you're right that when you aim and hit that thing with the torch hits it and just goes directly through it. Doesn't seem to have any effect on it at all. The good news is it's not going to attack you because it's already done that today so far with Lump. So you are okay in that score. The situation that happens when that occurs is that as you are dealing with that, you've got that. Okay. Right. So you haven't been able to stop it yet. We will see what the effect actually is as we go along. All right. So as we reset to the top of the round, 2 successes so far inside the circle, 1 torch attack that didn't work outside the circle, and 1 fist punch that semi-worked outside the circle is what we've got. So as we go back to the top of the round, we will go back to Weddle and Reginald. Again, second verse, same as the first. Both of you are going to be doing the same test that we mentioned before, a craft test.
Counting on the chant.
Yep.
We're at 12 again.
So that barely works. Again, I want to say that may not work soon, but it does work. It does count as a success. And so you managed to do this 3 successes now we are up to. Weddle, what about you in the life of the troll, of the doll? Look at that. Wow. So, okay. So that is a great success. Actually, wait. Yeah, so sorry. Great success works for that. That's good. Blah, 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 blah. Because you had a standard success only, Reginald, actually what happens is the magic from the talisman strikes out, but is quickly reeled back in. So what that means is you're going to take a little bit of psychic damage from that. I know this because Weddle is not going to get anything because of the great success they just had. So Weddle is not going to take that damage, but you...
Is that a great success or an extraordinary success?
That's extraordinary.
That's
That's
extraordinary.
an extraordinary. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, quote on the table is great success or better. So,
Yeah.
or extraordinary success. That's why.
No, that's fine. I couldn't remember what an extraordinary was.
Yeah.
That's all.
Rare.
Rare. Yeah.
It's rare, exactly. So you're going to take 3 points of damage there, Reginald.
Okay.
Of course, that
Do
avoids...
I get that modified for having psychic skill?
No. If
Okay.
anything, if it were going to be modified, it'd be modified the other way. It might have more of an effect on you, but it does not in this case. Now, this ignores armor, but I don't think it necessarily ignores the peddler's cloak. So I'm going to say that you would take 2 points off of that.
Okay.
And then take 1 point off your life. However, you cannot use your wand right now because your body is literally stiff as a
Nope.
board. So that's it. But I think you'd rather do that than take all the damage anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so Weddle, with that success, the magic is contained. Nothing happens. We're now up to 4 successes. Meanwhile, on the outside of the circle, the silent apparition is draining away on the acolyte, who looks very woozy right now. So, Lump and Regina, you better get this thing off as fast as you
I
can.
have an idea.
Okay.
Lump, I have an idea. Can I go first?
Yeah, go first.
Boots! Bite it!
Can boots be commanded by someone else?
Well, maybe I'm more pleading than commanding.
Okay. Just like, hello. Okay, you could certainly say that, and Reginald will hear that and make a decision if they want to do something or focus on what they're doing. But Boots, I don't think, is going to follow anyone but Reginald, I'm afraid.
I'm not even sure Boots has an attack.
Yeah. Boots can assist things,
But
again, I'm
Regina
not sure.
doesn't know any of this.
That's
so.
right. Yeah, no, it makes sense. While
So for
doing
her,
that,
this is the...
besides that, are you doing anything else besides the plea to Boots to help out?
Yeah, I take another torch and I try to distract the thing, maybe of letting go the acolyte.
How do you do that? How are you trying to distract?
I shout at it because that is something I'm actually pretty good of.
Okay.
Something like hey, and I threaten it with the torch, like, hey, take on somebody your own size, and you do like whirling the torch and like, I kill you. I fire you up.
And the creature
Come on and get me.
The creature kind of looks in your direction again, but doesn't do anything other than just sort of look at you. It continues to suck the energy out of the acolyte. Also, I'm putting the party.
Okay.
I noticed that I have used a dark fate to pump up the threat level of this creature.
Awesome.
Okay,
Because
that's good.
that's just to keep in mind.
That's what
okay.
you can do.
That was me.
Okay. Not a bad idea, Regina. I mean, we're all trying to figure this out. Lump, that leads us to you. You see the situation.
Right. Talk to me. What items can I see in the room near me? Is there anything?
There's not a lot because the room is actually fairly bare. There's obviously in the circle is the pedestal with the coin. And of course the dolls that you pushed into the center and your companions. Outside the room, though, there's not really a lot in the way of stuff that's outside the circle. It basically is just kind of a fairly open center. There's a large, enormous, actually, red rug on the ground underneath the circle and actually most of the room. But that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of objects here.
Did you say the acolytes were outside of the circle?
Just standing on the edge of it. They essentially are creating the
just
boundary
standing
of
on
the
the edge.
circle. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And this creature, is next to one of the acolytes, sort
Right.
of like draining them, basically.
That's right.
Okay, I'm going to pick the acolyte up and run away with him.
Okay. So in doing that, you know that you will be... Okay. I'm trying to
No, I
think
do
how-
not.
Okay, then all right. So you pick up the acolyte.
I'm assuming, at this point, the acolytes are aware of what's going on in the room. Are they in a trance? Or are they like...
Well, they're
I
aware,
need to
but...
focus on doing this, but there's something trying to eat my soul.
Right, that. They're trying
Okay.
to focus on this. And as you reach for it, Treya says, "It will disrupt the ritual," and kind of yells out at you.
Can he chant while I'm carrying him?
"It must be near the circle."
I'll keep him near the circle.
And she kind of like shakes her head since she's also trying to focus. All right, Lump, where are you trying to bring them? You are theoretically going to leave yourself open to attack from the apparition, by the way. I don't know if
Yes.
that bothers you. Okay.
No, not really.
How close are you keeping to the circle? Like what?
Within a step of the circle. Like I'm essentially, if I were to fall over, I'd fall in the circle, right?
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
it's just close enough that I could put this acolyte down, and they'd be as far away from the circle as they were.
Okay.
I am what's considered dangerously close to this circle right now.
Yeah, you are.
But I'm literally like, I'm not like bundling him over my shoulder or anything like that. It's literally just two giant troll arms come around from the back of this person. All he hears is, keep chanting.
Okay.
And he just is lifted up and
Okay.
just is carried in a what I would assume to be, if my lackluster map skills are any good, a counterclockwise direction
Okay.
around the circle.
By the way, I just have this image of you picking him up, and then there's the from Return of the Jedi. The Emperor's like lightning, da da da, like as he's still chanting. I don't know why I thought of it that way. So, all right. So you're going to do that counterclockwise. So I have bad news and good news. So the bad news is that you are going to take damage from this creature, or at least the creature is going to attack you. And so in the midst of that, let's talk about that damage that is going to be taken. Okay, so I will need you to make here a defense test against, let us say, it's going to be psychic combat. It's psychic damage, really. So you're going to be using either wits or resolve, basically.
I shall use resolve.
Okay.
So is that 3d6 plus resolve?
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I assume you don't have a focus in psychic combat.
No, I do not, shockingly. And that's a 12 and also a Dark Fate for yourself, sir.
Yes, indeed. I will happily recharge mine.
Yes, I'm sure you would.
So that is, in fact, going to hit. It would not have, but thanks to the Dark Fate that I successfully pumped up the creature already this time around, it does affect you. So you are going to take some psychic damage as you pull this thing away. I'm getting to the good news, by the way. Don't worry, chat. You'll hear about the good news momentarily. Okay.
Good news is Mike has a new character ready.
You exactly. You are going to take
his brain is fried.
3 points of damage again. Again, this is ignoring armor, so it's just.
Yep.
So you are.
Did I take 3 points last time?
Yeah, you did. You've taken
Okay, cool.
6 so
Thank you.
far, so I have you at 20 out of
That's
27.
Yep. That's fine.
Now, the good news about all this is that I missed something, which is that when there is an exceptional success, it means that you get an additional success to the ritual. So that means that when Weddle did that, I think I had said we were 4, so we're actually at 5 successes.
So well.
So good call. Good work on that. Okay. Now, having done that, that's going to bring us back to the beginning of the third round. The light is continuing to brighten, and it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter.
It's not dimming. That's good. This appears to be working.
It is not dimming. That's right. But I should say it's not getting appreciably dimmer. It's brightening slightly, which is better than when it was getting dimmer faster. So back to Reginald and Weddle. You are in there chanting away, and you need to be able to, again, help as a part of this. So I will ask Reginald first. Again, the difficulty is increasing here. So you're going to be making, again, your craft test.
I'm going to use a light fate to roll 4d6 for this one.
Appropriate.
I've got to outcraft Queddle somehow. Get me ass kicked here. It's embarrassing. Well, that's not really. I'll drop the 3.
Drop the 3.
Drop the 3 for a 17,
So a
and
17.
enjoy the Dark Fate.
Yep. I don't know that I can. I just if I have a
You're gonna run
skill,
out of
use.
tokens.
I was going to say use 6 Dark Fate to destroy the whole party. No. So that is a success. And so it is not a great success, but it is a success. However, because it is a standard success, again, the magic lashes out. And so let us see how much it's going to do. You are going to take an additional just 1 point of psychic damage here, Reginald. You're going to take that point of damage, and that is going to lead us to Weddle, who has also got to make the test, his test to stop this disastrous experience.
Quaddle does not want to be undone, and will also use a light fate for the old 4d6.
Appropriate.
This is a craft off. Puddle's not losing. Never mind.
Eek.
Take it back.
Okay. Well, so you're gonna drop. So you're dropping one of them, which is one of the ones, I assume.
It's another
Yeah.
dot.
So a 15. So that's another one. Yeah. Geez. Too much power. Like I overflow.
Oh look, I
with
can now
power.
summon the wizard.
Yeah, that would be great. You summon the Great Wizard. Well, it's been a good campaign, and all right, but no, that is a standard success though, because that still is more than was needed, and so the standard success means you are going to take a little damage of recoil, basically psychic recoil. You are also going to take another point of damage, Weddle, so you're down to 14 because that ignores armor. And you are now up to 6 successes. The room now is shimmering, and there's this... if you've ever been walking down the road on a hot day, and you can see ahead of you essentially what we would now know as a mirage, right? Like the reflecting... Yep, that's kind of what it looks like. The light and the darkness of the shadow kind of positioning against each other. And so, Regina and Lump, you have this apparition still to deal with. I am... Again, using one of my Dark Fate, because it would seem silly not to do that, to pump up the threat further. Reducing myself to a mere 6 Dark Fate.
Oh, what was you?
So I need the tests from you. However you want to do your combats, Regina and Lump. Lump, you're also holding the Acolyte, so you're going to have to make a call here, I think, as to whether you want to, like, put the Acolyte down or whether you want, or what you want to do.
So, if I could just ask, so... geographically, I'm moving and counterclockwise around the circle of acolytes. There are 6 acolytes, so let's assume they are at certain points of a circle. At what point, when I reach another acolyte, then I want to basically know if the apparition is still focused, like draining this acolyte.
It is,
or if it's like, oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, then I'll keep moving around. Just sort of skirting around the acolytes.
So you're not going to attack it then in this case? You're still holding onto the Acolyte? Okay.
Yep.
All right, then Regina, what about you?
I still want to distract the apparition, so I take out my acorn that I still have with me, as people might remember, and I hold it out and like, look, I've got a magic acorn. Come on and get it. I've got a magic acorn. Come on and get it. And show it the acorn.
So it kind of looks... and then turns back. It is apparently unimpressed by your acorn.
I throw the acorn at it, if I may.
You certainly can. You strike it with solid power, and the acorn goes through it and rattles to the ground. Into the middle of the circle where it obliterates the circle. No, I'm just kidding. Damn it. I didn't mean to do that. No, it doesn't do that. But unfortunately, it is not affected by the acorn, sadly.
Okay.
The apparition is going to take its opportunity to attack the creature that is trying to take away its nice, juicy food. And so it is going to attack Lump, who has still got the Acolyte. So, again, I need a defense test from you, Lump, please.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Does it look like... Is there like a some sort of visual connection between the Acolyte and the apparition? That maybe, being... Is this having any effect that I'm aware of?
You don't know. It may be that it's causing it to reduce the speed at which it drains, but you're not sure. The Acolyte... Wow. Thanks for the light
I gotta
face.
stop rolling dice. That's the show,
okay.
folks. See you next time.
Okay. Again, that wouldn't have been so bad had I not already pumped it up with Dark Fate.
And this not being my area of expertise.
Okay. This time, you are going to take 7 points of psychic damage as this creature strikes to your soul.
It's all right. I can take
so
it.
to speak. Okay. So it does that. That's
How far can I move? Sorry. How far can I move with the Acolyte?
I don't know. You can probably 25 feet, I would assume, around the circle. Because I assume you're just keeping him as you move around the circle, right? Like you're not moving away from it because you want to.
Is this like a Benny Hill sketch? Is the apparition just following me at pace?
Yes, and pretty much following after you and draining from it. The Acolyte, you can see, you can even hear, is kind of breathing heavily. You probably slowed it down a bit. You probably have not stopped the drain completely. So, It may...
Have there been any points where the draining has stopped? As in, if I'm in between the acolyte and the apparition?
No, there seems to be some connection at the moment, or, dark bond or something between the two of them at the moment.
Okay, can I say something?
Sure.
Can Lum say something? He's going to look over at the person in the center of the circle whose name temporarily escapes me.
Treya? Yeah.
He's going to look over at Treya. As he's running around with one of the acolytes, there will be a moment where I am in front of Treya, and Treya have line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
I will look over and go, suggestions! Keeps running.
And she just sort of yells back, "Stop the apparition!"
Trying!
Thanks for the help!
Yeah.
In fairness to Treya, she is also trying to, lift a pretty obnoxious curse from a wizard talisman. Okay, so that was Regine, that was Lump. This brings us up to the top of the round. We are up to how many successes now? How many successes do we have? Chat and people.
Chat? You were asked
Chat,
to track.
you were asked to keep track.
I've run out of death tests, which I was using to check them off.
It's chat's job. They need to make sure we've done this.
Yep. Hopefully chat gets it right. Otherwise, we're going to have to set it back to 0 and start again. No! What? That is a lie. That is
Chat
not
has
true.
spoken. It isn't chat.
You're not chat, Bruce. Chat never pays attention. Why should it now? That's not true. Specifically, chat was given one job. It had one job here.
That means they don't remember the reward that was promised also.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
exactly. Now, now this stuff doesn't happen. I never pay attention. I was paid off. Wow. She was like, "Oh, it's up to." Well, see, chat doesn't know. Fortunate for all of you though, it's not 5. It's actually 6. You have had 6 successes. I'm a chat person. You've had.
Oh, Cole, you're not helping.
Yeah, that's one less than we had.
Yeah, exactly. It was actually 6, not 5, and that was a pretty good guess, Effect Life. So yes, 6 successes is what you have. So we get to the top of the round. We'll start with Reginald and Hweddle again. The light is becoming so bright in where you are anyway, like inside the circle, that it's blinding. So we will see how that works. Can I repeat the question? I wanted to know how many successes they've had, ritual successes, so far. So Reginald, 6 successes. Let's see how you do on this score. Let's see how you manage.
Same as last time. I'll use my last light fate.
Okay.
And
The difficulty
probably give you a
increases.
dark one. Fuck God!
Oh, nice. I'll just take that. Although you keep saying this and then you keep rolling well, despite the fact that you keep just throwing dark fate at me by the bushelful.
Yep.
Okay. So that is 13, 19. So 19. Oh no, is that right?
No, it'd be an 18. I
Yeah,
dropped
18,
the
right.
2.
Yeah, okay. Still enough though. That is a success. It's not a great success. It is a standard success, and so again, psychic feedback, so to speak. You will take 2 points this time, Reginald. 2 points.
Yeah, Reginald's starting to look like he'll benefit from a good varnishing.
I know it's true. No, I only have 8 Dark Fate Effect Life, not 25. I mean, that's, okay.
That would be ridiculous.
Hweddle, you are now up to 7 successes. Are you close to the end? Will we find out? Let's find out.
Hweddle's also using his last light fate.
Okay. Waits for it. Thanks.
Hacks.
All right. I'll just take that.
I'm calling hacks for that one.
This is amazing.
This is unreal.
It
Look
really
at
is.
Look at the chat string.
Okay.
This
Having
is
said that,
just
that's 10, 14. So 14. It's funny. You kept just ahead of the increasing difficulty. That is a success. And as the acolyte in your arm sort of slumps over your shoulder lump, you can see the coin begins to send out multiple apparitions, like more and more apparitions heading towards the other acolytes. But at the same time as they're doing this, the light is pushing back against it. And so there's this one moment where an unearthly, almost too loud to listen to, too rough on the ears, hum grows louder and louder. And as the coin's smoky defenders continue their onslaught, the circle tightens, the gaps are closed. Gathering light pushes forward, forcing the smoke back into the coin on the pedestal. The chanting rises to a crescendo, and as Hweddle finishes the last portion in his mind of this ritual, it suddenly stops. There is a booming rumble of thunder, a flash of blinding light, and a wave of force knocks everyone to the backwards. You were all swept off your feet as you tumble down to the floor, doing 500 damage to each of you. No, I'm just kidding. It does not cause... And Regina, you were actually blown back even by, like, against the wall. It's this rumble of thunder literally affects everyone in the room. You're not thrown to the ground, but you're, like, slammed back into the wall. And as the dust clears and you rise once more... Let me turn off the music there. As the dust clears and you rise once more, the servant's coin lies on the pedestal, charred from the lightning and split in twain. It clearly holds no power anymore. An older acolyte steps forward and retrieves the pieces, ushering them away to wherever they keep such dangerous things. Others nurse their wounds with the help of their friends, though one young man, the one that you had been holding on your shoulder lump, is carried away on a stretcher, his eyes open and glassy, his life force spent. Treya scrapes some of the ashes from the pedestal and mixes them with blood from the chalice, and they murmur a soft chant as they pour the potion into a small glass vial, carrying over to you. Our work is done, friends. The servant's coin will curse the realm no longer. However, you will need this cure to undo the worst of its effects. A single drop on the brow of the afflicted will help them shake off their wooden forms. They will slowly return to their normal lives, but it will take some time for them to fully recover. But sadly, those souls you fought today are most likely lost forever. Treya places the vial of blood in your hands, bows ever so slightly, and then turns and walks away. The acolytes and priests remaining in the temple might be able to answer the questions you have, but that might also carry another price of service. You know how it goes with the temple. Like, nothing is for free here. So we will see. In any case, you have this vial which would allow you to use this on afflicted characters. So you could begin to use this if you wish. Do you wish to do so, is my question.
Are we now up on our feet, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to just quickly go over to Regina. You okay?
I slowly slide down the wall that I was smacked against.
I put my hand on the wall, so you just sort of like flop onto my
Flop.
hand. Like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I mean, I'm still like I'm at 4 health points. So like, yeah, it's fine. Just need a drink.
So
At the moment, I assume Reginald and Hweddle are still bewoodified.
Yes, that's right. You would need to have this administered if you wished. Yeah, they accidentally dropped the vial. Whoops. They're like, all right, just go take out 5 more bandits. And, oh, crap.
Reginald attempts to clonk his way over to Hweddle to check on him.
Unsuccessfully. Reginald is not able to clonk.
Clonk, clonk. So I'm just flailing wooden limbs on the ground right
Basically,
now. Then,
yes.
With associated noise.
That is correct.
Okay, I'll go over to our... what was the term you used earlier? Friends deep in the land of doldom.
Yes, I believe is what I used.
Deep in the land of doldom.
Fairly pleased with that phrase.
And I love that, and also kind of hate it at the same time. Yeah, I'll go over to Reginald and Hweddle, and I'll sort of move them together, and I'll look at Regina, and I'll go, hands too big. I hold vial. You drop.
I drop.
Don't
I drop.
the vial.
No, I drop myself.
Not I
what?
drop.
Not I drop. Okay.
I can't
Drop.
wait to have Regina make an agility test and watch Pyron be super like... like
If Regina has one thing, it's agility. I don't fear an agility test.
No, that's fair. I'm joking anyway.
I'm
Okay.
worried that you're going to make me do an agility test. It's just like,
Okay, I
so
make.
you're taking
I drop
fingers the size of sausages.
Yeah, exactly.
slightly glazed and pretty beaten up. So I drop a drop on Reginald and Weddle. Yes.
Drop, forehead, drop.
So when you do this on Reginald, immediately smoke rises from Reginald's flesh. Just
Oh no.
your joints
no.
unstiffen. Yes,
Oh,
and,
no.
he,
Wrong
and he
vial.
burns to a crisp. No, I'm just kidding. No, the joints unstiffen. Your clothes become sort of the leather tunic I believe you were wearing, and so on again. And Reginald, the agility penalty and all that we were talking about is reversed. You are essentially back to normal. You still feel a little stiff, like arthritically stiff maybe, but it feels like that's something which is going to pass. But mostly, I'll actually use a personal example, but I bet people in chat will know what I'm talking about. If you've ever been, if I ever am like particularly sick, where I'm like in bed for a day or two, I often find one of the worst parts of it is that for whatever reason, my muscles and limbs get very stiff and sore as a result of this. So like, it's really sore even when I get better for like a little while, where I'm just like, oh, because maybe I've been just lying in one way in the bed or whatever. That's kind of what it feels a little bit like you're quite sore, Reginald, but you are not anymore you have not been dullified, let us say. So that's what happens with you. With Hweddle, when the drop hits the wood, that same kind of, that same kind of smoke begins to rise. And Hweddle, as you're sort of lying there, you feel your limbs beginning to move again, and your mouth and everything, and you sort of the same effect. The only thing that doesn't change is you are still only about 2.5 feet tall. And you do remember that it had been said that it would take a little while for this to pass completely. But it certainly feels as if you were not cursed anymore.
Oh, what you do that? I've completely forgotten his accent.
That's what happens.
What
You
you
turn
do
into a
that
doll.
for? Hey, check it out.
You sound different.
Sorry, a curse will do that to a minstrel. I'm a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest, because I'm not sure I'm ever going to get an opportunity to be turned and carved into a Kruth again after this. That was probably my one chance to be turned permanently into a musical instrument to be played by the hands of a master. But you can't always get what you want. And who knows, I could have ended up in the hands of someone who thought I was a lute or something. Can you imagine? Lute is a completely different type of instrument to a Kruth, which is a type of bowed lyre that plays chords. No one here would mistake anyway.
Absolutely not. There's a moment where I'd like to think that Weddle is halfway through that sentence, and Lump just smiles and just engulfs Weddle in his arms and gives him a massive hug, and equally sort of sweeps in Reginald and Regina at the same time.
Is it just me, or are you bigger than I remember?
No, always massive.
I check on Reginald.
Maybe sometime great adventures take us many places, more times to get turned into many things in future.
You're
I know
right.
some druids who will have some serious questions about what it means to be wood.
The dolls, by the way, are still lying on the floor in the circle.
Oh,
Yes.
All right.
We should go over and cure the family.
So Lump, when you put us, or actually, I guess whoever it is, Reginald or Hweddle or Regina, whoever actually puts the stuff on there,
Yeah.
when you crush the vial in your big meaty fist, thus wasting the cure. No. When you put this on them, you see that the wood immediately sort of passes from them, and it's as if you're holding now a living but still tiny creature, and you can see that the creature that you're holding is warm in sort of as you sort of touch their hand, their brow, and they are clearly breathing again, but their eyes are closed, and they do not just instantaneously return. Sort of like Weddle. If you had to guess, it seems like the further along the curse was, the longer it's going to take to kind of restore them all the way back. So they're still portable sized for your convenience, but they are not wooden dolls anymore.
Good. Pocket NPCs. I love it. I pass the vial, because I'm still holding it, I pass the vial to Reginald, who now seems more ambulatory than he did. You're not sort of like this, are you? Are you a little like this?
He's a little bleeding from the ears from the psychic damage.
Well, yes, this is true. I'm going to give you the vial. I'm going to go, good magic. Good druid, good magic.
I don't know much about this magic.
He motions a hand towards you after you. I assume you do take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He motions a hand towards you. Best magic I know.
It has
Good
its
hand.
uses.
No, and sort of punches you on the shoulder a bit. You. Good hands, safe hands for good magic.
I see. It's a shame about the acolytes. But one death for... And he's trying to count, but he's not adding up for more lives. Does not upset balance. So he starts applying the magic to everyone that hasn't had it yet, I guess. And are we keeping this? I don't know. I don't know if I want to keep this around.
Well, we should probably. Well, actually, is that a table talk question or is that a character question?
Yeah. I'm not sure what to do with it.
Wait, keeping what? I'm sorry. Keeping the coin?
The vial.
Oh, the vial.
Oh,
sorry.
no.
I was going to say,
No.
Really? First of all, I took it
cool.
away.
This is-
But second,
I've seen Lord of the Rings. I know what happens when you keep artifacts.
let it go. Yeah.
I'm going to guess we're going to head, unless we are taken somewhere else, we're going to head back to the inn and see if we can find any more dolls, because we only brought some of them with us.
Yeah. Considering the favor we had to do just to not die of this curse, Reginald's feeling that maybe asking them for help with that spell he might have wanted to learn might not be worth it.
Well, we could do with the rest. So maybe if they're just like, yeah, this is taking out of all of us, then we can have a bit of a rest, and then that could be a good kind of RP moment to say, oh, but while I'm here, can I have a quick scan of your archives? Is that all right? I've spent most of my time being a wooden doll. I've not really had a chance to have the tour. So I'm interested to know, did that acolyte actually die? Or do we know if they were just carried off and they looked like they were, on the brink?
Is that a
You were
question for
holding
me?
him.
Yeah, that's a question for you. Because I was holding him.
Yeah,
right?
you
Did
got
it,
the.
Did it feel?
It felt like the life force had been sucked from him.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Now, what you did do is possibly... Well, there were two things that caused that to work out the way it did. One is the fact that Weddle and Reginald kept succeeding on tests, although they were throwing Dark Fate my way like I was going out of style. But they kept succeeding on tests. Otherwise, more of those apparitions would have joined the fight, which could have made things pretty difficult. But the second thing was that your running around the circle meant that you sort of slowed down some of the effects, but couldn't remove it entirely.
Okay. That's fair. I think you know where I was going with that one, right? I was just trying to game out of range of the apparition.
Yes, it did feel a little bit like you were playing a game of Duck, Duck, Goose, but I basically got the
Duck, Duck, Goose
idea.
with human life. That's how I roll.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Out of interest, just for a table talk curiosity, for Lump and Regina, would there have been any way we could have fought that apparition?
Yes, if you had magical weapons, or if you continued to fight it using your psychic damage to the extent that you could.
Right. Okay. I'm assuming it had more than like 6 or 8 life points.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not
unfortunately, that was a
more,
fight.
but...
that was a fight that was entirely suited to my skills.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was like, oh, the people inside the circle, great.
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
It's one of those like, yeah, even if I'd gone to warn them, which wouldn't have been in character anyway, there's nothing they could have done with the knowledge.
No, exactly.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we head out of this godforsaken chamber. I don't know about anybody else.
Isn't this the opposite of a godforsaken chamber?
Here's the
Yes, this god blessed chamber.
God's approved chamber.
God's approved chamber.
I need to retrieve my acorn first, please.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
If it's still there.
I was gonna say it's been shattered with the coin. No, the acorn is still there.
Maybe the apparition stole it or something. You never know.
It's true. That's true.
It has fused with Weddle.
Yeah, exactly. Now Weddle has an acorn on his head.
Also, I would like to approach Reginald really carefully. Do you know where Boots is? Is he all right?
I think he was resting.
Oh. Well,
Now-
that's nice, isn't it?
Reginald, I do want to mention this actually. Boots was Boots, who is always around generally. You notice that Boots has been acting quite unlike himself. Very sort of kind of, how do I put it? Uneasy and kind of looking up at especially when all that stuff was going on. Now you didn't have a chance to see any of this, but looking towards where the pedestal was and looking towards where the light had sort of glowed in the room. So as you folks begin to make your way out of the temple, you can see that Boots is hanging back. Like Boots keeps looking towards the temple and then back at you and then back at the temple, and seems to be sort of even in awe. And Treya, who has come out on the steps and sees you kind of looking down, and says, "It is the case that sometimes there are those who wish to stay with the temple. They have been inspired in some way. Perhaps this dog of yours feels similarly. So I need you, because you're the only one as a follower, Reginald, I need you to make an empathy test here. So this is going to be empathy and insight. Now, what is Boots' current loyalty, I believe, is 2, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to take 2 off of the difficulty that you're having to match.
The temple always comes at a cost.
Yeah. The temple is not just like a pleasant church
We
where
did
everyone...
them a favor.
It's not there, and you get the impression Trey is not like, I will take your dog from you. Like, it's just the thing of the temple somehow. Yep.
I'm just checking. Ooh, hang on.
Also, those of you who have played Talisman, this is exactly what the temple does. Just letting you all know. Straight up.
Yes.
In our game, it usually just enslaves us and makes us stay there for like 8
Or a
turns.
follower. Sometimes. I was thinking Vampire's Tower, too. But that's in the...
I really, really think you shouldn't take people's dogs away, even if you're a temple. Like, just saying
yeah.
for...
No, I
thing,
completely agree.
Even if you're a temple, that's really stupid because some people then go around shooting other people and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
This
happens.
is the origin story of Reginald Wick. I'm thinking I'm back. Keanu Reeves is Reginald Shun.
Okay. Would this count as a non-violent encounter with spirits then?
Sure.
Okay, because that means it reacts to me 1 step higher on the attitude chart.
Okay. Okay.
Just in case that helps. 'Cause
Okay.
That's about the only thing I've got because I don't have empathy.
So you're going to be making an empathy insight test, which means otherwise. I will say because of that step, let's say that's going to reduce the difficulty by another point. So you'll have -3 to the difficulty. Now,
Okay.
chat, I'm going to let chat know. Here's the situation, chat. You've got, now Reginald has used up, I believe, Light Fate, right? So, chat, this is a 3d6 roll to keep the dog of Reginald. Is chat willing to jump in with an inspiration
Come on,
to
Jack.
help Reginald save his dog?
This is the cruelest thing you have ever done to me.
I haven't done anything yet.
This might be the cruelest role he's ever put in front of us. This is...
Both of the inspirations have been used up, I'm afraid, Echo. The channel points this one. Prince Justin is out of inspirations.
On the 30th of the month.
Yeah. Well, because they used them
In an
earlier
hour.
on other campaigns.
You know what I'm saying is like this is happening to us on the 30th of the month.
That's true. Effect Life used it in a critical moment last week here. That's true, to save the people in Ghosts of
Yes.
Saltmarsh. So
Yes.
That's a fair point.
it's a good point.
That
It was other
campaign would have gone in a
campaigns.
very different direction.
Can't buy one. Yep. So it looks like I don't think we have anybody else who has the thing as well. Everyone has used up their inspirations. So we are looking at a 3d6. Now, by the way, quick note out of game to Saber. I would never actually just steal your dog from you without you having a chance to do anything about it. There may be a story-driven thing that happens that you have to deal with.
It's
Just a quick
fair,
note.
and separating character from player. For Reginald, he would probably be okay with the spirit moving on because that is kind of what ghouls are about, or at least Soulkeeper ghouls are.
Because this is
'Cause they're
driven by this
shepherds of the dead.
location. This is driven by this location. It's driven by the temple. The temple is kind of it's a high risk, high reward like place, right? It's like kind of a sucky place in a lot of ways. No, not out of game.
never
I would
go there
never
on the
steal your
board.
dog. That's not
The
true.
temple on the board
What I'm
game.
saying
That's
is
what
that,
you said.
No. I'm saying in game, I'm not stealing it either. That there's an opportunity for Reginald to do some stuff, even if it gets lost, to try to get
Yeah.
it back. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I think let's stop putting this off. At least it didn't give you a dark fate.
It did not give you a dark fate. So Boots, let's see.
It's a 10. It's a 10.
It is a what?
It's a 10.
Oh, right, because of the what? No,
Yes, yes,
well,
yes.
because the difficulty. No, it's not that. It's the difficulty was reduced. It works out to the same thing basically. So Boots kind of looks your way, and then kind of looks up at the temple, and then kind of makes his way up the stairs and kind of stands at the top and looks down. And Treya kind of looks curiously down at Boots and then looks over at you. And then sort of solemnly comes down the stairs and says, I sense that this one is connected to you and that it has some importance to you. Is that true?
He has been my companion through life and death for over 100 years.
And sort of nods. She nods and thinks, and comes over. And one of the acolytes comes over, and Treya turns, and it seems as if Treya is kind of, I guess the term would be consults with them. Might be a good way to put it, and speaks to them, and says, most of the time, what the decision of the creature is, we cannot gainsay. But in this case, this creature is driven by something else. It was, I think, attracted to our temple by the battle against the Talisman that you were able to destroy, and the removal of the curse has encouraged it to stay here. But if you wish, there is a way you will be able to retrieve this one. You must return to us when you have done what must be done, and then we will tell you how you may retrieve this creature. It is not a service to the temple. It is a reminder to this dog of the value you have had for each other. You must override the effect that the curse has had on its mind.
I kneel down and just look at Boots in the eye.
And he kind of looks back at you, still familiarly, like not like I don't recognize you type of thing.
I will fix this. When you are ready to move on, it is your decision to make. But it must be your decision without influence from me or a curse. And on that day, I will weep and say goodbye.
And Boots kind of ghostly like nuzzles against your hand, and then goes over to Treya and kind of wags his tail, and Treya says, We will take care of this one until you return.
How may I help him clear his mind so that he may make his choice?
There is a ritual, a place where it must be done. It is a great necropolis, a necropolis that you must go to. You must seek out the spirits of the dead and speak to them. Gain their support, and they can, on the other side of life, purge his mind. Free his mind in the dead as well as the world of the living, and he will return to you.
Where might I find this necropolis?
It is called the Necropolis of Sepulchre. It is located east of the village of Villadoc along a lonely road. There is a stone wall that encircles this graveyard. It is a place of great evil, but also great power. The creatures there may not wish to serve you. They may not wish to help, but there are some which can be convinced. And if you are able to convince them, then this one will be released from the final effects of the wizard's curse.
Reginald kind of chuckles mirthlessly. He's like, well, they do say all goals go to Sepulchre sooner or later. Very well.
And Treya says, moreover, you will be doing the people of that place a service. It is said that the denizens of Villadoc have been unable to bury their dead, that they have been prevented. You can, in this way, restore the balance and restore your dog.
Then I must do this. Balance must be maintained. Spirits must be shepherded. If burial rituals cannot be completed, the spirits will roam and become angry. I have journeyed through such a place where the bodies and spirits were not respected. It was evil. I can't allow that to happen to another place.
Treya nods and they say, there is more. If you are able to restore this balance and able to purge this creature's mind of the evil of the hold that the curse has upon it, you will find that its loyalty to you will be increased. A creature so purged in both the land of the living and the dead that serves not simply itself, but the friends who rescued it, can never again be turned from the path of loyalty.
Very well. I thank you for your assistance in both removing the curse and in this matter.
And Treya nods, and they, in a very odd gesture as you're sort of walking down the stairs, have a hand on the ghostly Boots' head, you know, like as Boots is sort of sitting and watching you go. This is a good spot to pause and welcome everybody to episode 352 of Pen and Pixels. This is Talisman Adventures. You are watching the amazing GOG crew. We have been through a bit of an emotional time just now, everybody, as multiples of us are pet lovers and dog lovers, including the GM, let it be said. I am joined as always by the amazing Pyron J, Darksaber 2K, of course, Peripheral Mike, and Undeveloped Bruce. And we have adventure hooks and reasons beyond what happens after this adventure. Looks like they might be heading to a necropolis in the near future. But in the meantime, so the party, I believe what they told me they were doing was heading back to the river, and the boat that's going to cross it. What you find when you get there, by the way, is quick note, by the way, no one else has a follower, right? I know you had Back at the temple, you had Unwin, but you had left Unwin behind because Lump said in no uncertain terms Unwin was not to come with you. But none of the rest of you had followers, so this is just specific to Reginald in this case. Okay, so when you head back to the river, you find our boy. Wait a second. Prish! Hey, it's your boy Prish. Prish is here, and Prish is ready, and when he sees you come back, he says, "Well, it looks like you were successful. Do you have what's needed to help the people at the inn?"
But at what cost?
Yes, exactly. And he says, "That funny little ghost thing that was around your ankle seems to be gone, though. What happened?"
Come on!
He says,
Too soon!
Too soon. He's like, perhaps too soon. No, he doesn't do that. But he says, all right, well, the Storm River is always rough, but I'll do what I can this time to get us clear of those crocodiles. Perhaps we did enough damage to them that they won't want to be affected again. On board, then. Let's be off. And if the four of you do that, then I can tell you that the journey back across the Storm River is rough sailing as always, but it's otherwise uneventful. The river crocs stay well away this time. Though Prish's job is done once you're safely back on the shore, he seems intent to continue on with you to the tavern if you'll have him. He says, "I had my chance to stop this mess before it all started. I'll at least see to it that my friends are well before I take my leave again." So that's up to the party. Now, I have a question for the party, which is a mechanical one affecting your health. Obviously, you've been pushing along because time has been of the essence for you. But you're also pretty seriously, you took some damage there. So do you want to rest beforehand with the understanding that is going to, delay, like the world moves on when you're resting. But I don't want to just push you in that direction. It's up to the party whether you want to try to take a rest before or, you tell me.
It's pretty much non-optional, I think, resting.
Yeah, I would have assumed we may have even rested at the temple, but if we've gone straight
Either
from
way,
the
I mean, you
temple
could do
to
that,
the
but you could do that if you wish before you go across. That's also fine.
I think that would have been thematically, would have gotten out of the temple, that emotional thing would have happened, and then would have been like, yeah, I can't be bothered walking. I could just do with a sit down for a bit and a nap and a bit of a cry, and I'd just like to, just chill out for a bit and heal. So it depends on whether or not we wanted to rest at the temple or we wanted to rest after the boat ride.
I don't want to rest at the temple anymore.
No.
That's fair.
Oh.
After boat ride, then?
Maybe on the boat, even?
Not going to be easy to do that. It's probably moving around too much for you to feel like you could get any legitimate rest there.
Also,
I'm only little. You could put me in a little box or a little cradle.
That's true. Put little cotton around and just be really comfy. Yeah, it's up to you. It's totally up to you.
I think in that case, if there's a definitive kind of feeling of don't want to rest in the temple anymore, bad vibes and all that, then I think after the boat ride, because we can basically get off the boat and be like, cool, we're exhausted, we're gonna set up camp here. Because I'm guessing there's nothing near where we land, right?
Not particularly.
Also, I think the land on the other side of the river is less dangerous. So
yeah, the land on the outer. That's the outer realm, right?
The outer region, yeah.
The outer region. Thank you. Yeah, the outer region is safer than the inner region.
So let's go and rest there.
Yeah. Okay. So boat ride, then get to inner region. Get to outer region, then rest.
Now, question: are we looking at a long rest? A long rest would allow you to, if you're doing recovery, it means you get all your lost life, all your spell points recovered. You don't have to take any tests. You would still have to deal with wounds, so tending to wounds. So you could do that regardless. So there's that. Or you could take a short rest, and during a short rest, you can try to do first aid, which might recover a wound. but it's not as likely as if you were to do a longer rest. On the other hand, a short rest is like 15 minutes to a half hour, whereas a long rest is pretty much 8 hours, at least 6 hours of sleep, and then a couple hours afterwards to do some other stuff.
What time it is?
By the time you get back across, because this took place, it was 9 in the morning, probably early afternoon, I'd say.
Do you know how many hours have passed since the fight? Since the ritual?
That would be, I would imagine, probably takes about an hour to cross. So it probably was a couple hours because you all kind of jetted out of there pretty quickly. So I would say probably 2 hours.
I'm just
maybe
going to
3 at
roll
the
some
most.
regeneration dice because troll.
Right.
5 points.
Okay.
Waddle is knackered. He's been a wooden doll. He's licked things. He sang what he thought was going to be the last song of his life. You know, I think he just wants to have not a nap, like a sleep.
It's one of those situations where like you'll sit down and you'll be like, I just need about an hour, that's fine, and then a day later you're just like, wow,
Oh my, I needed that.
Yep. Okay, so
Yeah.
it sounds like a long rest is what you're all aiming for.
Yeah.
It is pretty safe on this time at this portion of the river. Okay, so what we'll do is here is a long rest. So first of all of you, assuming you all, I'm not going to go through, setting watches and stuff. I assume that you're going to be able to get at least 6 hours of sleep. So all of you are going to restore your life and your spell points. Now, I do, however, have a question about wounds. So let's recover the life and all that first, and spell points. So Lump is at 27 out of 27. Now, as a reminder, by the way, Lump, there's going to be stuff also that we'll talk about in terms of refitting armor. So I want to throw that out there. So everybody gets life and spell points back first. Then Regina, of course, gets back all of her life points, which I imagine she feels pretty good about. Reginald, 19 out of 19. The cloak does not restore normally, so you'd have to do the wand waving thing if you wanted to get that back.
Would that be instead of trying to do with my wound?
No, that one you
Okay.
can just do. That's not.
All right,
It
yeah.
uses a
I'll do
charge,
that.
but
Yeah, and I'll mark that I've used that twice now, just to remind myself that I have an unknown amount of uses.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so you're back up to 2 out of 2 life on the
Okay.
cloak, and you have 0 out of 7 light fate. Light fate does not restore, unfortunately. Let's see. Weddle is also out of life fate. Okay, now let's talk about what you can do separately. So all of you got that automatically. Now, the other things you can do during a short rest, you can do first aid, which means you can possibly heal wounds they've suffered, but it's going to be silly to do that for a reason I'm going to explain in a minute. You can refit armor. This is something which might apply in particular to you, Lump, where you can basically try to spend your time refitting your armor, and that means that all armor points marked with a slash can be repaired. If it's an X, it's gone permanently until you get a blacksmith to look at it. So there's that. You don't have to worry about recovering life and spell points because that's already done. But because it's a long rest, you can also attempt to heal a wound with natural healing, or you can help someone else basically tend to their wounds. So in other words, your options are to naturally heal, tend to the wound of another, or refit armor. And all of you have the choice to do that. One of those 3 things. I guess you could also do first aid, but that's silly because doing these other things I mentioned are more effective than that. So,
Hwedl would like to naturally heal his wound, please. He'll do it with good grace and not a lot of complaining. He might like a couple of times mention how he never complains about his wounds and everyone knows that he'll just get on with it. Lump, do you remember that time now down in Woodbine, stubbed my toe? Did I complain? No, not for 2 days. Well, not after 2 days.
2 days.
He's obviously a bit shook up and just, still.
Now, when you're going to do this test, this is transparent, so I'll let you know what this means. It's going to require a fortitude metal test against difficulty 14. But to do this, you need to get a great success or better. If you don't get a great success, you don't heal a wound. However, the difficulty for the test is reduced by 2 for each day that you don't succeed. So the next day when you try a test again, it would be easier to do it after you do another long rest. And if someone else helps you, then that will also reduce the difficulty of this test if they tend to your wounds. So that's why 2 of you, Reginald and Hweddle, have wounds. So Regina and Lump, you have to decide some mixture of, I want to refit my armor. I mean, Regina doesn't have any armor to refit, so probably Regina can help. But Lump, it's up to you. You're down a lot of armor, so you might want to refit that, but if you can't attend a wound from somebody else.
Do I need any kind of skills to be able to help?
No. You are going to be... Well, actually, let me think about that. Requires a heal test.
Yeah, no. How about no?
I could help with Hweddle, but it will be difficult with this. And he holds up his cut hand.
Oh, I don't know. Mechanically, I want to refit my armor because my armor's buggered. Thematically, Lump wouldn't care about that. He'd try and help Hweddle with his wound.
Although armor may protect you so that you can better protect your friends in combat too. So.
No, you're overestimating his thinking.
That's too far. Gotcha.
Now, far be it from me now to you know I don't complain about my wounds. I don't want to be put first ahead of anybody else. Now, Lump, you are my friend, right? And as a friend, remember that in a battle, I'm going to be very subtle about things, as I'm being subtle with you now. And so I'm always going to stand next to you and be able to rely on you to take hits for me and rely on my own subtlety to ensure that the enemies hit you instead of me, because that's what friends do, is help their friends get hit instead of themselves. And that is why I think the most important thing to protect me, and most importantly my Kruth, is for you to refit your armor. If you really think about it, that's what you need to do. Because this wound will heal. It's nothing. Look at it. So, and this just like
massive cut across the it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah. Like
you show it. Everyone's just like.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Barely see the bone, mate. and to be honest, I don't think with any amount of help we're going to be able to heal this tonight. So, we'll just leave it another day. It's all right. Well, I'll try, but I might even just help Reginald, to be honest.
No, Lump's going to help Weds.
I did my best.
Yeah, you did your best. But as you're saying this, I have this image in my head. As you're saying this, Lump is just sort of like moving you to like a seated position. He gets like his needle and thread out and his gauze and all this sort of stuff. And you're just like, no, don't possibly. No, it's this bit, mate. Don't possibly help me. You need to refit your armor.
That's it. Hweddle has decided he's not any longer going to try and heal this wound, and so there is nothing that Lump can do to help him, and he'll have to listen to the complaints for at least one more day. The not complaints, because he does, Hweddle doesn't complain about any wounds.
Doesn't complain about anything.
And actually, as much as I'm loving this back and forth, I do have to say that this may be a moot point anyway. Didn't we say that healing is a skill that is not... you don't automatically get to try it if you're not trained in it, right?
I have heal.
You do have heal. Well, then you could. So you could do first aid is what that means. Instead of tending to wounds, because you would have to if you tend to wounds, you're helping their own natural healing test. If you're doing first aid, it means regardless of what Hweddle does, you can just be like, shut up, I'm bandaging you, or whatever. And like, we'll do that because of first aid. So,
yeah. So I am going to perform first aid on Hweddle.
Okay. So you are going to be doing...
Unless
Yep.
Unless Hweddle resists.
I don't think it's very fair to twist a man's arm when he's got a wound on it. It's really not very nice. All right, fine. I will try to heal my wound and you may help me, but if you get hurt tomorrow because you ain't got no armor, I'll give you such a look. I'll give you such a look. You will not believe it.
Okay, Lump. So this is going to require a heal test against difficulty 14. It's a natural healing test you're helping with. If you get so we're going to do your tending to wounds thing first, Lump. If you get a standard success or better, the character you're tending will get a +2 bonus to their natural healing test. And if you get a great success or better, the character that you're tending can increase a standard success on their heal test to a great success. Also, I have some other good news for you, Lump. You can tend to multiple characters during a long rest if you wish, but the difficulty of your tending to wounds test is increased by 2 because you're dealing with 2 characters instead of 1. So you could tend to Reginald and Hweddle, but the difficulty will go up, or just one or the other of them, and it would be just the regular difficulty.
Do I get... So this is tend wounds. Is that a focus in heal? Or is this just the
it's just the action that's being taken during long rest, yeah.
Well, I get a bonus if I have focus in first aid.
If you have a focus in first aid, then maybe. The difference is that in first aid, you're basically doing it to them, and you're looking to try to get a great success or an extraordinary success to heal a wound. Mm-hmm. In terms of tending to wounds, you're helping them make their own test.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll try and... What I'm going to try and do is just attend to Hweddle.
Okay. So then
Absolutely
I need a heal.
No discouragement to Reginald there. But
okay.
I'll tend to myself alone.
I mean, he's just lost his dog. Like,
jeez, he's already taken 75 heart damage today.
I'm just sitting there looking very
emotional damage.
Yeah. Okay, so a heal insight test is what we're looking at here, and you're looking for a standard success or even better if you can.
So insight test. So it would be 3d6 plus insight. Yes.
3d6 plus insight if you have a focus, but you don't have a focus in this. We said so that means because it's not first aid. So yes, then just 3d6 plus the aspect.
Okay. It's an 8.
That is an 8.
Yep.
Is that another dark thing?
Nope.
It's not. Okay, no, it's not.
Nope.
I was gonna make the wound like
about.
Far worse.
No, that one's upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
no, I just want to point out this is the first time I've ever gotten double digits in Dark Fate. It's really, really amazing. Okay.
Keep the RP going for the next session.
Unfortunately, that is not going to succeed. It doesn't make it any worse, but you're not going to be able to help, I'm afraid. Okay, Hweddle, you are now going to naturally heal. So you need to do a fortitude, which is metal test, against difficulty 14. And again, we're looking for a great success or better here.
right. But I don't have the fortitude skill, so that's just a 3d6.
Then we're looking at 3d6.
All right, let's go.
We already discovered there are no inspirations available, unfortunately.
Let's go.
Oh. Ouch.
That is what's known in the business as a rough.
Now, the only silver lining for this is that for Hweddle, it is going to be, and please remind me of this if I forget, the next long rest, when you try this again, it will be 2 points easier to do this. So it will be easier to tend to this the next time. But unfortunately did not work this time. Okay, Regina and Reginald. Reginald, what are you doing? And then Regina, are you aiding in any of this sort of thing? Actually, I should have said, by the way, Regina could have helped Hweddle or Reginald if she wanted to. Although I don't think you don't have heal though, do you? So you can't. Yeah,
nope,
right.
I don't have heal.
Yeah,
I do the opposite.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so never mind. So Reginald, it's up to you then.
I'm going to have to attempt some natural healing. Just going to stare at my ghoul hand and will it to knit itself back together.
Get better.
Worth noting, I also do not have the fortitude skill. Ironically, I have the healing skill,
Oh,
which is only useful for other people.
man. You could, yeah.
I'll take that.
Nice.
I'll take that light fate.
That
I'll
is
take that double
just
6
enough.
and I'll-
That is just enough. You do, because that's a great success. And you passed the number. Yeah, that's it. You do heal. Maybe the grief that you feel, the wound inside, is belied by the healing you do on the outside of your body. But you are.
I think I hear a faint barking and panting.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's awful.
Oh mate.
He's not God. You could get him back.
I just meant maybe I felt I could sense his spirit, and that helped.
Yeah, I can see that. I can say one thing for sure, and that is that I bet you're really, really displeased with whoever did this to these people that sent you on this in the first place back at the end. I'm guessing.
Yeah. I may be formulating some things for when we meet him.
So that's her status where we are. So the
I
only
cast shatter on his teeth.
on his
Yeah.
wow. You would deserve nothing less. Okay. So you have got one wound, and I believe what we said this does is I believe I said it was -2 to ability checks, Weddle, until that wound is healed. So we will see how that goes. Okay. So after the rest has passed, and you are now again back across the river. So you left about I want to say probably 3 days ago. I think you've been gone basically for about 2 to 3 days, both crossing the river, staying at the temple, dealing with the raiders, coming back the other way, so, and came back over. So when you get close to the tavern near Innsview, there is a new sign on the door, and the sign says "Grand Reopening Tonight."
Wait,
Interesting.
how is it reopening when they are all when we have like the tiny inn people?
There was a letter from a person that we found.
I don't remember anything about a letter.
I mean, the dolls did kind of take up the bulk of our mental capacity during that session. But there was a letter. There was like a nephew who'd been cut off from the family.
Yeah.
Who was like, yeah, if you will not, give me money for nothing, then I curse thee, kind of thing.
I'm not in a really good mood. Shall we go in?
Could this be the shifty lad from the title?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
The front door is still barred on the other side. Apparently the grand reopening hasn't begun yet. But you can see that the windows are open.
Lump.
Yeah. Would you like me to open the door from the inside? I look at my companions.
I was going to ask Lump to open it from the outside.
Regina, by the way, while you're just sort of buzzing about near the window, like just not through it, but like outside it, you can see inside there is a dark-haired young man dressed in fancy clothes, and he is sitting on the bar as a number of tiny people scurry to and fro throughout the main room, setting out plates, cleaning out mugs, and laying wood for the fires. And they look quite similar in some ways to the once wooden, now gradually recovering dolls you carry with you.
I don't judge anybody by their size. This is fine. So I fly in and open the door from the inside.
Okay.
If Lamp at the same moment, if in the same moment Lamp opens the door from the outside, I have a problem. But maybe
I love this idea. Please, can Lump try to open it at the same time, because that would be.
The door
Yes.
opens from the outside, inside, and shatters.
Yeah. Okay, right. So, you're gonna shatter it
And
too?
then,
That's
and
really
then
funny.
Lump goes through the window.
Oh my goodness, Hweddle, are you doing anything while this is happening? While everyone else is destroying the door, by chance?
we could
well,
use a
it-
tune for this.
It depends. Is Hweddle still 2 feet tall, or is he back up to like 3?
Hweddle, after the rest, has gone up to about 3.
So he can't really reach the windows yet. Can
That's
he?
right. Someday when you
yeah,
grow
when
up,
he's-
Hweddle.
He's going to look very longingly at the door handle. Is what he's going to do.
You're going to have a chance, sort of a front row view then, as the door is simultaneously shattered open and smashed through by Lump, and like with just this. I don't even know how to describe that. What does that even look like? I guess Regina is opening it when the door blows up and also Lump goes flying through. So the person on the bar is so surprised that they actually topple over backwards and kind of pick themselves up and then pull themselves over and, hey, what are you doing in my tavern? Who are you?
I would like to shout at him. It's your fault. I shouted at the dog, and now he's gone, and that's your fault.
Dog? What are you talking about? What dog?
This isn't your tavern.
What? This tavern's mine by right. You should leave before I have you thrown out.
The coin's
Try
been
it.
destroyed.
The what? What coin?
Lump, help him off the ground.
Lump just walks towards him.
He dives behind the bar and then goes, "Nrrt," and you recognize this sound, Reginald. It is the sound of a shatter spell. I am going to ask everybody. All right, I need to see about, let's see. Hweddle is not going to be someone that he sees, so he's not going to worry about Hweddle. Lump uses his fist, so you can't shatter his fist, although it's tempting.
I'm also quite large, so am I in the way of... Is Shatter an AoE?
Mm-mm.
Or
Single
Shatter,
item.
so I'm walking in front of other people towards this person. And if he's behind the bar and he's scrabbling to his feet, or even on his feet, a giant angry-looking troll coming behind the bar as well. Surely I've got his focus and attention, right?
What I'm thinking he might do in that event is I'm thinking he might try to shatter your armor.
Yes.
So he's going to make an attempt to do that. So, let's see.
Knew there was a reason I didn't refit it.
So I need exactly. You're like, haha. I need you to make a defense test for me on this one. So this is going to be strength that we're doing.
My speciality. 3d6 plus. Give me a.
Well, let's see. So it'd be equal to. This is being held by a person. Blah blah blah. So I would say. Right. So he's got 3D. So it would be, I guess, I'm trying to think if you would have a focus in this. I don't think you do. I think this would just be, you're sort of trying to kind of resist what's being done. So I would say, let's say 3d6 plus aspect even, I guess. I think that's probably the way to look at it.
Which aspect?
Brawn.
Brawn. Thank you.
3d6 plus brawn.
Does this class as a melee defense test?
No, not a melee defense test.
I get +1 on melee defense tests.
Understandable.
That'd be an 18.
Okay. Yeah, I think that actually probably works. So you try it on him, and it does not actually succeed because you are like, absolutely no.
Which is weird, considering the armor is falling apart.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Now, does the spell does he fire it off and it just sort of like ping off, or does he just fail to cast it in this? Because I'm thinking of the flavor around this motion.
I think
because I got a plan. So.
I think that it's more of the ping. I think it's almost like you see it coming and you kind of are like you almost dismiss it like you were brushing a fly to the side as you went along. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Can I just like push a tankard in the way and it smashes that instead?
Oh, sure.
There is actually an illustration in the book, if I can get this on camera properly. Oh, bloody hell. No. This is not helping. No. But it shows a green ray
Which
of power,
page?
actually. It is
it a
page
green-
129.
129.
And it shows
is it an actual
a green...
proper...
It shows like a ray shattering armor.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oh no, it is a proper bzz, like ray gun
like
ray.
that.
Yeah. Excellent. So I see the green sort of like bzz, and I just immediately like biggest tankard or jug I can find and just hold it in front of me, and that just shatters and obliterates.
You grab the closest wooden object. Sadly, it's a doll. No!
Tankard, the closest tankard-shaped object.
No, that's fine.
Unless
you
it's,
grab a
unless it's
tankard-sized
the
doll.
curse, the curse
Legend
of the
cursed
tankard people.
John Tankard, I can't believe you didn't make it. Okay. No,
Not Jimmy Tankard.
So it does shatter. And so you stride over to the bar. And as you get over to the bar, you can see that something has just slammed shut. Like he's literally vanished from behind the bar. And there is what looks like essentially a trap door with a ring in it.
Mm-hmm. Pull the trapdoor as hard as I can. If I take it off its hinges, bonus points.
Okay, yeah, you're able to do that with no problem. He didn't have any time to lock it. There's a ladder descending downwards. It is going to be pretty hard for a troll to get through that, though.
Is this a sloped ladder or a straight ladder?
It is a straight ladder.
Cool. Jump straight down. Ignore the ladder.
Okay. I'm thinking more about actually fitting into the hole, but
I'm pretty certain I fit into this hole last time. Because we've been in this basement before.
Right, but I thought that you went down using regular stairs, though, to get down here, not through a trapdoor. Maybe it was through a trapdoor.
I can't remember. If there were regular stairs, it might have been regular stairs. If there are also regular stairs, it was probably regular stairs, because I don't think we checked for trapdoors.
Also, this doesn't lead to the basement.
Oh, I see. It leads to the Cursed Object Emporium.
Well, not so much that, but it looks like there's a tunnel that it goes down.
Not a tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm still like single focus. This person has done something wrong, and I'm going to try and stop them.
Okay.
To try and interrogate them.
So what are the rest of you doing?
I'm down that ladder after Lump.
Okay.
As soon as I can fit through, I'm down.
Okay. Lump, I would say that I'm going to let you go down there, but you are very cramped. These look like a set of rough-hewn tunnels. Definitely look like they are, if you had to guess, older than the construction of the rest of the tavern. They may predate it, even. So it is, as you sort of go down there, you can see the tunnel is sort of extending outwards and curving, and you can hear, without having to even do any checks or anything, the sound of steps like running down the way.
Can I run?
There's no way you're going to be able to run down here. You have enough room you can let other people go in front of you, and you can kind of like essentially push your way through, like, roar, but the running is not happening down here.
Okay.
For you.
Is there light?
There is not a light, although you do see a receding light, like on the other side. So presumably he grabbed like a torch, maybe from the wall or something.
Okay.
And is running away.
I speed up.
Yeah.
Because I think there should be enough space for me to go full
absolutely.
speed, right?
I also lean
Yes.
to let Reginald, like, so I've landed.
And Hweddle,
right,
for that
and I'm
matter.
just sort of like, yeah, I've landed, and I'm just sort of like, oh no. So I sort of like move my body mass, and then Reginald gets past me, Hweddle gets past me, Regina gets past me, and I'll take up the rear.
Hweddle, are you following after them
mistake.
the way the rest of them are?
Yeah, Hweddle will go as fast as his little legs will take him.
Okay.
I would also like to brandish a spear while flying full speed.
Okay, so top speed. Are you also, in addition to this, doing like running after with the spear? I just have this image of like this flying.
No, I shout stop.
Okay.
Stop.
I was going to shout, "We have your family," but that's completely out of context.
I would. That's funny. I would like you to make an intimidate test for me, Regina.
Yes, I do have that skill, by the way. It's like the only social skill Regina has.
So you have the skill. You have a focus.
No, I don't have a focus. Question is does this count as a physical intimidation because I'm brandishing the spear, or is it the psychological intimidation because I'm shouting?
So here's what I'm going to give you the equivalent of a devil's bargain, which I used way too much now since doing some Blades of the Dark stuff. I'm going to give you a devil's bargain here. My answer is it's going to be psychological unless you want to try to get within visual range of him first. If you get within visual range of him, then I will allow it to be physical. But you've got to do more than just stop, like while you're around a corner.
Let me see. It is brawn if it's physical or resolve if it's psychological. I'll do psychological in this case.
All right.
Because I'm already shouting.
Okay.
So it is 3d6 plus resolve.
Okay.
Which I at least have a little bit of. 3d6 plus resolve. I'll also use one of my light fate to roll 4d6 because I really want him to stop now.
Okay.
Yeah, that might have not been a bad idea. No, wait, that doesn't matter. It's an 11, no matter what I do, right?
An 11 does not seem... Well, you don't know, actually. You're going to have to wait till you get around the corner, but you don't hear him saying, okay, in response or anything like that.
Yeah, no worries. I'll keep on flying.
But while you're doing that, Reginald, what are you doing? As I know you're running after. Are you trying to, shout anything, yell anything, prepare something? Weddle, are you playing a on your cruise, playing a you're on the run, type of thing?
I'm going to spend a light fate
to nuke the tavern from orbit.
Well, no, but to activate animal features, specifically keen senses. So, to your eyes, I start to take on what looks like a bit of a dog's nose, some dog's ears. It reminds you of a certain companion who's not with us anymore.
Oh, God. Oh, my feelings.
So this gives me a bonus die to notice test, since I now have keen senses.
God.
Okay. So wait. So say that again. So so now that you have keen senses, you're going to do a notice test for when you do a notice test to get the benefit of it.
Yes, on notice test.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
if you call for one, or if I'm trying to notice, I'll get a bonus die. That will be for the next, I think it's the next hour. Yeah, 1 hour that transformation lasts.
Sounds good. Weddle, what about you?
We still chasing.
Yes, I assume you are.
Yeah.
But...
Weddle thinks Regina's got the best. Regina has got the best chance at catching up, and so he's going to cast Speed.
Okay. Speed. What does speed do?
You can cast aside the weight of time on yourself or one target you can see. On a success, the target's movement speed is doubled for a number of rounds equal to your craft.
Are you casting this on you or on Regina?
Oh, Regina.
So Regina's flying along and suddenly just right around the corner. I have this, oh my goodness, I have this image of there's a show none of you will have ever seen called Voyagers, which was not Star Trek Voyager, Voyagers, which was about this time traveling group of people. That's a long story. Anyway, but there was this sequence that as a kid I used to love when they were traveling through time, and they're just whizzing along, and you can't even, everything is motion blur, and the music was dun 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 dun. So I have this image of Regina just blow straight down the corner, left. Regina, you overcome the running away young man who is sort of running, and he kind of looks over.
I do have to
Sure.
roll for the.
Oh, you got to
spell
make it
cast.
happen. Sorry, let's actually make it happen before all that cool stuff happens. I was too excited by the image.
You were so excited.
Now it better
by that,
work.
which is
It better
you
work
can-
now.
If you just want to make it succeed, that's
No.
fine. You're the GM.
It better work now. I'm gonna feel all let down.
Right. It's got a difficulty of 14, and it uses my resolve, which is 6. So 3d6 plus 6. Let's go. 14.
Yay! Okay, good.
And a dark face.
And a dark fate. He turns around, uses all of his dark fate to become Sauron, and no. So nice. Okay, good work though. Seriously. So now everything that I just explained happens. I knew that was going to occur. I was convinced. And so Regina, you accelerate to incredible speed as you whiz around the corner. I think Reginald, probably with his keen senses, gets to hear what I'm about to explain, because Regina, you come zipping up and you see the young man sort of turning around with this horrified expression if you want, you could just like literally run into his face, like because you're gonna pass him. Like, what do you want to do?
I want to pass him, and then I would like to try to stop and like make him stop because I've got a spear.
Okay, so you go and like try to slam on the brakes. He definitely stops, and he just sort of stares at you with his eyes wide, and he's like, get out of my way.
No! Why do you think no?
Yeah, yeah. And he kind of is like, and meanwhile he hears the sound of like more people coming behind him, and he's like,
I would get on your knees and raise your hands if I was you.
Are you going to rob me?
Do you have stuff?
And he kind of like starts braying like a goat. He looks absolutely terrified. He kind of drops to his knees, and then he seems like he's not sure what he wants to do. I'm going to have you make an intimidate test again on this one, Regina. This time I'm going to have you add 2 to it. This is an angry, incredibly fast sprite with a spear yelling at him.
18.
Yep. So he's like, all right, I'm sorry. And at this point, Reginald and Hweddle, you round the corner. You see this young man on the ground pleading for his life in front of Regina, who is with her normal rage, but twice as fast. So zip, 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 like really angry with her spear. And then Lump, after, I would say maybe 30 seconds after that, you squeeze your way through the passageway to find him on the ground.
He just sees a tunnel-sized troll just crawling his way through like this.
Exactly.
This guy is never sleeping again.
So he's just like, I'm sorry. Don't hurt me. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me.
I think he has valuables.
I'm sorry, please. Well, yes, everything. You can have everything you want. Anything or everything.
Space is in this tunnel.
Wait. Are you a nephew?
Yes, I am. My name's Branton.
We got the right guy.
I'm the true winner of everything. No, you didn't. Not necessarily. They said that they had a nephew. Well, anyway, doesn't mean it's the wrong guy. And he says,
we're talking about Regina here.
So he says, I am the nephew, and my aunt and uncle are they own this place, and now they gave it to me, and it's my tavern, and you're stopping me from my regular duties. Please don't kill me or hurt me.
Reginald hands him the note that was with the coin,
and he reads it over, and he's like,
yeah, we know the name Branton, by the way.
He says, and then he kind of like slumps down. He's like, fine, I use the coin, and I just wanted to make something of myself, and I thought that I could use the coin to speed up the process a little bit.
You know what? A guy in a rope died because of that coin. Somebody else lost their dog. That coin was dangerous. You can't just let it lying around where people might lick it.
Ooh,
yeah,
well,
and I used to be like 5 foot tall.
He kind of looks up at you at now 3 foot, and he's kind of like, oh.
Well,
I'm just like
4.5.
He's like, that's sorry. I'm sure there was a misunderstanding. I didn't, well, you didn't have to come in and, to the inn. Was it Unwin that told you?
I start growling at him with my dog feet.
She's kind of like,
are you trying to tell me what I shall do?
yeah, no, no, ha, 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 ha.
If there's
absolutely
enough room,
terrified.
I would love to grab his leg and hold him upside down.
Ah! I'm gonna wait. I can
And
do
just
this. I can do this.
literally give him a shake and just be like,
I'd be quiet.
And he sort of he falls to the ground. Hang on a second. Can I do this? There we go. So he, for those of you on stream, so he's like, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. Don't, please. I'm so sorry.
Didn't mean
Where
it.
does this tunnel go?
You hear the sound of tinkling, and his shirt seems to have gotten damp with something.
I involuntarily sniff and wish I hadn't.
He says, "The tunnel? Nowhere. It's not at all a smuggler's tunnel. I mean, it's not a place where I bring my stolen. It's And he just kind of like he basically whimpering and doing whatever he did that caused the shirt to become wet, explains that these are apparently tunnels where he's been able to make arrangements to smuggle things in and out for some of his friends, because apparently some of the people in the tavern that were turned into dolls were people that had come seeking money because he owed them money and had escaped there from, dun dun dun, the village of Villadoc, which I believe we've heard of before now. And so he basically confesses all of this to you while sniveling desperately and swinging back and forth in your leg, in
And
your
soiling
arm.
himself.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent
I
stuff.
bark at him. Where did you get the coin?
I won it from a wizard in a card game about he went all in with pocket kings and I had pocket aces and I won totally fair and square. I didn't have another ace in my hand. I mean, damn it. I didn't cheat him. I
bring him closer to my face. I'm regretting this because he stinks now, but I'm bringing him close to my face. It's like, name.
His name was I didn't ask his name. He was a wizard. He wore a blue cloak. There were stars on it and moons and diamonds. His wand was flashy, and he had a big staff also that he carried with him that had like a diamond on it or something. I swear.
Can I tell if he is lying? I have a focus of empathy detect lies.
Sure, then
like
let's have you do that test. Let's have you do that
Excellent.
test.
That is apparently insight. Roll 3d6 plus. And if you have a focus on it, you get a +2, is it?
Yes, so 3d6 plus aspects plus 2.
Ah, come off it.
What do we have here? You'll be happy to know that this isn't that difficult, actually, a test to maneuver, given the circumstances. It is a standard success. Weddle, either this guy is the best liar in the history of recorded time, or he's not lying. You think that he is so terrified that he's just babbling. Now, it is possible that at a certain point he's just going to start making stuff up to save his life, but you get the impression that he would basically just start shouting names at you if he thought that would help. Like, his name was Eric, Bob, Steve, Joe. Like, you don't know. But you get the impression that he's not lying on this one.
Thank you. Right. Blue cloak with stars on, a shiny wand, and a staff.
And a staff, yeah, and he had a long white beard, and I won it from him, and I know why he was laughing now when he gave it to me. I should have realized, although it worked out really well. Well, it almost, I mean, not that it was, I didn't mean for it to work. I
bring him close. Oh, damn it.
Splash water on his face.
Already wet.
Splash that on his face.
Just kind of flop him about a bit.
And then he sees Reginald again. Like, and sort of jerks back.
Where?
Villadoc. It's in Villadoc. It was there in a tavern in Villadoc. He's Villadoc. Villadoc is where you need to go. He's there. That's where he is. But he told me to be careful when he left. So
I look at my companions. You know, if I wanted people to really, really realize that I'm a wizard, that's how I would dress. Like,
Like
if I met
fancy
somebody
wizard.
really stupid and I wanted to get him into trouble with a cursed item, and I wanted to make sure this guy realizes I'm a wizard, that's how I would dress.
Yeah,
Why
I
would
was
the
gonna.
wizard not tell him about the curse? How did he not get cursed?
I look at the guy. How did you not get cursed?
Oh, I kept it in a special pouch. You're not supposed to touch it, and you shouldn't keep it on your person. You just use it with gloves, and then you make sure to put it back, and you don't ever touch it with bare skin, and you just leave it in the bag all the time, except when you're using it, only then, and you never keep it on your body ever. And that was how you shouldn't have touched it.
Did the wizard explain all of that?
What's that? Sorry.
Did the wizard explain all of that?
No, he just said to be careful, so I never got cursed, so I just used gloves, and I was careful. He said it was powerful, and to be careful with it, and so I was, and so it was fine. You just don't touch it, and you don't keep it on your person, and when I found out what it could do, well, then it was really useful. I mean, not useful. I mean, it wasn't, I don't,
Oh no. How did you find out what it could do?
well,
And where?
I might have used it to help convince a couple of people not to collect money on debts back in Villadoc, and then they found me here, and I used it again because they were going to hurt me, and then I thought maybe I could make some money and pay them back in Villadoc, so I did the same thing to the whole staff of the tavern.
Wow.
Can I kill him now?
A guy died.
Well, I didn't know that would happen. I didn't mean that.
What was the boat captain's name again? Sorry.
Prish.
Prish.
Prish, who has been upstairs. I mean, Prish is, Prish at this point probably would, I imagine, come down the tunnel. Although he's sort of like, you hear from behind Lump,
What's going on up there? Did you find him?
Yeah.
well, what'd you do with him? Is it Branton? And Branton, when he hears the voice, he's like, that's Prish. Save me.
Save you from what, you rat
Don't save
bastard?
him. Don't save him.
What did you do with those people?
And basically he, starts babbling out the same thing he already told you.
He's safe.
And he says, Prish says,
Probably you'd want to ask his, I think, aunt and uncle, once you've saved them, what they want to do with him. Although I would just tear him in half or throw him to the crocodiles. And he's like, no, don't throw me to the crocodiles, please. No.
Love just looks at it
Like Prish.
Reginald just says, "Oh, it's perfectly survivable."
Don't let me. And Prish sort of chuckles, and then Prish is like,
He sounds like he's, are you holding him somewhere? Also, there's a smell.
I'm not.
No.
Shouldn't we? And you can see that Regina is struggling with the thought, like, bring him to the sheriff. No?
Are you asking
Okay.
that of Prish or anybody else? Or like,
Everybody, we're in the small tunnel. I'm sure everybody can hear me.
Tavern first, aunt and uncle.
Yeah, we should probably try and keep it in the family if we can. I mean, that's how we do things up in the crags. You don't get law enforcement involved in family matters.
The rope guy died.
Oh yeah, the rope guy did die. We'll get his family involved too. Where's the aunt and uncle? Have they woken up yet?
Send him to the temple.
Oh, there's a good
That is
idea.
a seriously good idea.
and the aunt and uncle are gradually recovering. It'll take them a little while longer to do so, but they are among the group of dolls that you started to rescue.
I
Right.
think we get out of the tunnel however we can, get back to the tavern and see also what were the people running around in the tavern, were they small doll figures? So I'm interested to know if we can heal those people.
Okay, so you're bringing him back up then, or?
How's Lump turning round?
Lump has to go forwards.
I was assuming Lump would just go, like, start backing up, holding the guy. I mean, he got down here one way. You go back the other way. Yeah, beep, 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 beep. Oh my god!
It sounds more like this because he's now holding his like scruff of his collar in his mouth. Beep, 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 beep.
Oh my goodness!
Let's tie him up as well so he doesn't escape when we get out of the tunnel. I'd like to tie while he's hanging upside down. I'll tie his hands together and also his feet together.
He thanks you profusely while you're doing this, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
And I'd like to put a gag in his mouth, please.
I poke him with my foot hard.
This is what we call tunnel justice.
Tunnel justice. It's in the smuggler tunnel.
Doing it old style.
Yeah.
What you discover here, thank you for the follow, Mad Bat. As you talk to him, you've already heard the basic details, that he had won this coin from this wizard in Villadoc, that a lot of the dolls that are working in the tavern, once you've cured them, are actually creatures that came originally from Villadoc as well, trying to collect debts from him, and apparently he had built up a number of them. And that the part of this curse is that the only one who can basically do them from the doll status is he can turn them into little people like this who serve him. He then gives a command word and they turn back into wooden dolls. And the only way that's eventually what would have happened to you, Huedel, if this had gone a little further, and Reginald down the line if this had happened continually. And when the aunt and uncle are more or less back to normal, the aunt and uncle are obviously infuriated beyond belief, but they decide that because he is flesh and blood, they ask you to release him, but with the following sort of conditions. One, he will be banished from the tavern for life. He will be imprisoned for his crimes if he ever returns. They want to give him 3 days worth of food and water, no money or horse, and depart on foot immediately. And that he heads south because they're also going to send word to all the cities and villages that he's defrauded as to where he's going. So basically that's what they ask, because they are not going to force you to agree, but that's what they think would be the best justice for them, but they don't feel like it's right to kill him.
The temple is also short on acolytes because of his actions.
They also were amenable to that idea.
It would restore balance.
Yes.
Lump does not argue.
Yeah, Prish, do you want to take this guy over to the temple for us?
Gladly. I suppose
Awesome.
I should bring him on top of the boat and not trailing behind it as bait. I mean, as an anchor.
Well, you got to do what you got to do. You're the captain.
And so he get like
Strap him to the front like this.
Yeah, Brent exactly is like the freaking figurehead. Brenton gives you this just like terrified, look, and he says, "Oh, Prish, you wouldn't do that, would you?" And Prish is like, "No, why would I do that?" And he gets this wolfish grin. I actually have a picture as well of the people that you've just rescued. Give me just a second. Their names are Niles, Niles, and Mildred, and they look like this. As you see them, they are fairly, robust, happy people who are obviously feeling much happier now. You are given every possible consideration. So first of all, Niles cracks open his finest ale. Mildred brings out crusty bread, sharp cheese, salvageable fruits. As the tavern people come back to themselves, including the ones that you saved, you get a bunch of handshakes of greetings and hugs of relief and pats on the back and tears of joy. Niles declares you all to be heroes. He starts making plans to hang your portraits on his wall, even though he doesn't know where they should go yet. You're told by Mildred that you're welcome to stay as guests at the tavern for as long as you like, free of charge. And there's some others there too. You meet a dwarf, Gilris Greysword, who asks you for tales of your adventures as you sit by the fire. Unwin is promoted from stable boy to steward of the entire inn, so basically gets to decide how other servants are going to work at the same time. And Ilette, the serving girl, keeps eyeing your group with a thoughtful frown as if trying to come to a decision about something. You're not just offered soft beds, by the way. There is also treasure and new traveling companions if you'll have them. I'll explain that in a minute. Unwin, however, is quite done with adventuring as a steward. He's had enough of magical coins and curses to last a lifetime, and it's said that the tale of the servant's coin never crosses his lips again, no matter how many travelers beg him to talk about it in the following years. He shakes his head, shrugs, and continues on with his simple life of hay and horses, because, as he tells you, it is always safer that way. Now let's talk rewards, chat. First of all, you are allowed to stay at the tavern forever. Like, basically, you can always come back here if you wish to and get, like, food and stuff like that. You are provided 5 gold pieces each with reward. Also, you are given a minor potion, each of you of your choice. And you have the following list of possibilities. There is a cure poison elixir, which does pretty much what it says. You can find it actually on 236 of the core book. So it's a cure poison elixir, which negates the effects of all poisons affecting a character. It doesn't restore life or heal wounds, but no additional damage is taken. A renewal potion instantly restores all spell points or restores a burned spell. So there's that. A strength potion grants +2 damage on physical attacks, +2 bonus to strength when lifting or moving objects. Effects last for 2d6 rounds. Or a special potion, which Ura tells you is her own, Mildred, I beg your pardon, tells you is her own special blend. This is a special creation of the tavern at Innsview. It is dark brown with flecks of red, and it's augmented with the lingering sliminess of a raw egg. It's a combination of secret ingredients with a powerful kick, and Mildred tells you should drink this down in a single gulp so that the spices don't have a chance to burn a hole through your gullet or burn the taste buds from your tongue. However, when drinking the potion, all lingering effects from exhaustion or excessive alcohol consumption are immediately eliminated, leaving the drinker fresh and alert. It also will heal 1d6 plus 3 life or 1 wound.
I'll take the tavern special brew.
Okay.
Reginald's definitely interested with that renewal potion.
Okay. So Reginald with the renewal potion, lump with the Mildred's wake up juice. What about Weddle and Regina?
Mildred's wake up juice.
I take the renewal potion as well.
Okay. Renewal also.
The renewal sounds pretty good, but I have got a wound, so I'd like to take Mildred's special brew.
Do you want to use that? I was going to say, it gives you a hell of a kick, Weddle, but you definitely do not have that wound when it's done. Yeah, it's the aftertaste. So that potion is immediately used up, but your wound is gone. Regina, did you say renewal potion? Because
isn't it okay? Because
that's only spell points. I don't know why you would.
I'm sorry. Then I misunderstood. Then I want a special potion because there's nothing that can be too sharp for my stomach.
Okay, so you're gonna get I feel right. So 2 of you then got the Mildred's potion, and Reginald got the renewal. The last thing I will note is that after all of these rewards have been gotten, the last thing, as you are preparing to make your way out, is the waitress of the inn, Alette, comes to you before you leave and asks if she can join you on your adventures as a follower. so would join one of you as a follower. She wants to see the world, and this encounter with the servant's coin has motivated her to basically get out there and start adventuring as she can. So if one of you wants to take this person with you, I will tell you the benefits that she would have if so, because she's willing to be one of your followers if you wish.
Have you got a CV?
References.
She's like, a what now? Okay, let's zoom this out a little bit. So
Let's talk about your 5-year career goals.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
So here's the, I'm going to give you the window capture of this person.
I have no problem having this person as a follower. Thematically, it would just be a case of they would just end up following Lump around because Lump doesn't care. He would just look after them, if that makes sense. They'd end up adopting each other.
Okay, there we go. So this person has the following benefits. You can have them spend a loyalty. They will spend a loyalty, and if a stranger is currently hostile to you, the follower, this one, Elette, will improve that reaction to non-hostile. She has a way with people, maybe is the way to describe that best. And so the stranger's attitude would become neutral. And if the stranger's already neutral, you can improve the attitude to favorable. You can have her spend a loyalty to grant you a bonus tie on sneak tests. She also has strength of 2, craft of 3, life of 10. And when you pay Alette a gold, or when you are given an item worth at least 1 gold, you can restore a loyalty. She starts with 3. And once per day, you restore a loyalty whenever Alette witnesses a new creature, place, or wonder of magic that she's never seen before. So she starts with 3. Her maximum loyalty is 8. And you can give her gold to increase her loyalty up to that max of 8. And then you'll restore a loyalty up to that maximum, whatever you've set, every time she sees something wondrous.
I like that mechanic.
Yeah. So that's Alette. Otherwise, though, as you look out, perhaps, Reginald, thinking you hear a spooky barking, you may look off towards Villadoc, which is where we are headed next. And that's where we're going to bring our session to a close. As the shifty lad and the curse of the servant's coin has come to an end, and as the party is leveled to level 5.
And we have received the lusty Argonian maid as a follower.
That is exactly right. And I am going to have to take this 11 dark fate.
And flush it down the toilet.
Exactly, and do nothing with it because it never came up in the same way. I would have loved to build that threat. The thing is, you can't stack it, so I can't make the threat the creature's threat is 50. I can't.
And now it gains a new arm, and now it can fly. And
exactly.
Yeah, so it raises threat for a single round, doesn't it? And
right,
then you have to spend another if you want to
restore
maintain.
it again. That's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. But good work, everyone. We had a surprisingly emotional moment in the middle of it. We had a very satisfying interrogation of Branton hanging upside down for part of it. We had the saving of Reginald and Hweddle. It was a close thing, but both of them managed to be saved. So we had a curse removal, a river crossing, and the put paid to a scoundrel who is going to be brought across to the temple to serve out his crimes, so to speak. So good stuff from everybody. I will start at the bottom. I am so very sorry, Bruce. Literally, the temple tries to take a follower from you, and Boots was the only follower that anybody had. And I was like, and again, I knew there was a way that perhaps you might be able to restore it. So we will see how that all comes to a business. But I know it's hard. As I say, love dogs myself. So I'm sorry that was painful to the degree that it was. But I really hope you had enjoyed yourself besides that with Hweddle's various work. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
Yeah, that was a really fun session today. I'm genuinely quite impressed with my die rolls. I rolled the dice 8 times and gave Dark Fate 4 of those times.
It was great, but it didn't happen in time. You needed to do this last session so I could boost all my bandits, all my raiders.
Now we've got it out of our system now.
Yeah, that's right.
What you're supposed to do, and you can only use 1 per round, and you're getting like 2 per round from the players.
Yep.
It's not sustainable. It was really great, and I know the Boots wasn't Weddle's follower, but I was just, as you're all talking, I just kept looking over at my dogs, and I was so emotional. Oh goodness me. But that's what makes these sessions so good, right? So there's nowhere to find me next apart from the next Talisman Adventures, because BT still haven't given me fibre internet. So I just, this is my life now. It'll happen eventually. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next session in December.
I just also looked over where I've now seen the picture of one of them in pajamas, and I feel, just to be very clear about this, horrifically guilty. I wanted to be clear about how guilty I feel. I mean, it did lead to a very good role play moment, so I guess that compensates, but it's very hard as a dog lover myself to put a dog at risk in any respect. So anyway, it'll be fine. You'll get him back. #save Boots. But thank you, Bruce. Good stuff today as always, and I look forward to seeing how things get handled next month. Schedules are going to be difficult, chat, but we will figure something out. We'll get ourselves together. Moving right on up the line, Mike, good work as always from Lump. I love the simultaneous door smash, door open, door shatter that the party decided to do. That was great.
Door be gone. That's what we're going to
call
it.
Door be gone. And then Lump kind of squeezing his way through the passage and holding up, by one leg was great. Gave me a chance to use my flip camera OBS transform filter. But that was a lot of fun too. And again, also this sense of kind of like, this guy did bad things, and now you're going to pay for that one way or the other. How did you feel? And of course, you had to battle the apparition too outside the circle. How'd you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
I really wanted to just carry on attacking the apparition, because I'm just like, well, I know, I as a player mechanically know this works. Lump is just like, well, the thing that normally happens when I punch a thing didn't happen. It didn't spit teeth out and fly across the room, so need to find another way to fix this. I know, I'll take its food away. Bye.
Yeah, I know. Just walking around and running around the circle, being like, what are you doing?
Get away from the acolyte.
Telling you, man, Emperor on his back.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it. It was an emotional session because of Boots, but it's one of those things that I can definitely see it kind of joining the party together a bit. So as characters, it's just like everyone has kind of fallen in love with Boots over the last number of sessions. So I can now see it's like, well, that's the reason why we're going to follow that. That's the reason why we're doing this. It's not just a case of, almighty curse or end of the world. It's like, no, we're doing it for Boots. Like, that's literally what we're doing it for right now. So yeah. I am here for that saga. But if you want to find out more about myself, if you like my silly voice and face, you can find it over on twitch.tv/peripheralmike, where I normally play PlayStation 2 games, and I'm currently tweaking a lot of my display settings. And the next couple of weeks are mega busy, so I'm not 100% sure as and when I'm going to be able to stream. But if you are interested, I'll stick a link to my Discord in chat, because I'm not on social media anymore, because it's a mental health vampire, and I've kicked it to the curb. So I'll stick a link to my Discord, and that's when I'll post when I'm going to go live. So that's it for me.
Good stuff. Always a pleasure. I'm excited to see how that all goes down with several things of Saltmarsh. Yes, those are people in the game that are playing. That's right. My son has arrived. Moving right on up the line. It was good to see what and I loved Reginald's sort of approach to this, because obviously Reginald has this connection to Boots, and as you said, it was not the same thing as he's decided to move on his own. It was literally the after effects of this curse. that had an impact on him, and that sort of allowed him to maybe be drawn to the temple. And so that's a big difference. And I think the way that you sort of presented that, and then the fact that you arrived and were able to be like, basically, where's Rachel? You know, like essentially yelling at him, was also satisfying to watch, because you're right. It's not Morthwill. This is someone who's neutral and is kind of like, yo, you know. And we have this hook now to go to Vildoc, which, by the way, I should mention, the next portion of the campaign, chat and players, is called The Lady's Tomb. So that will be appropriate, and a return to the land of the dead. So anyway, we had a lot of that going on, and Boots did really kind of pull people together in their frustration with that last section, their anger in that last section at Branton, so that the party was all pretty much like unified in wanting to put pay to this guy. How did you feel about today's session? Where will the fine folks find you next?
What an emotional sucker punch!
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, like you say, that's basically just the way it shaked down with me having the only follower, but oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was great. That was a really good RP opportunity for Reg there, because there's different types of ghoul. Not all of them are shepherds of the dead. Some are more about enslaving spirits.
Right.
Like they're the less neutral kind of ghouls.
Yep.
But Reginald's not that. It's very much you know, it's like you said, like if he decides it's time for him to move on, then he will move on. But he must do what he feels. Boots must do what he wants to do, but it must be his decision. And he, like, for 100 years, he's wanted to stay by my side, despite my best efforts to be like, you know, you're dead, right? you're supposed to go to where puppers go after that point, not stick around with me. But he, well, doesn't get the hint. And yeah, that's his choice. So that's how it was played. Channeling the dog didn't go the way I expected. I was thinking, there may be some traps down this dark tunnel or some unexpected things. Some having a bonus to sensing them might help. And then we got Turbo Sprite.
Yeah, I was going to say, that might have been the case were it not for Turbo Sprite.
So instead, I just decided to, channel Angry Dog, which was very much... how it was for Reg there. But that was great. Like I say, everyone coming together. Like the triple door takedown was just very, very funny.
I just didn't know how to describe it. Like open, smash, shatter, blow, open. I don't like it. Just there's no door. Like the door does not exist.
What happens when 3 party members all declare an action at the same time?
Yeah, exactly. I was actually waiting for Niles and Mildred to be like, "Do you know what happened to our door?" I'd be like, "Oh, no idea. I don't." Really.
It was like that when we got here.
Yeah.
And also the moment with Lump just pinging off the shatter ray with the tankard was a really good moment. But yeah, all excellent session. Excellent session. And like you were saying, it's really good plot hook. I am very motivated to get to Sepulchre, which will be interesting for Reg, because sooner or later, as the saying goes, all ghouls go to Sepulchre.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be, it's sort of the spiritual home of ghouls in the Talisman setting. So
I'm sure everyone else who's not a ghoul will feel good about that here. I'm sure everyone will feel great about it. It'll be great.
It'll be interesting to see what faction is controlling it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they will be the nice ghouls. But as for me, I will be back here tomorrow in the same time slot. I'm going to be doing a release stream of The Night Witch, which is, I tried it a little bit, a really fun sort of Metroidvania-y shooter set in a very interesting world with some really nice art. So I'm looking forward to showing that on stream tomorrow. So hopefully you can all catch that. And I'll be back on my channel on Thursday, carrying on with Prey 2017, aka Killer Cups from Outer Space.
Yes, I'm looking forward to tankards and cups today. Tankards are protecting cups. Thanks, Saber. Good stuff today. And thank you for rolling with the punches as well. As you will see, you know, like there'll be good focal point for you going forward with this. Hashtag save boots. Always a pleasure. Last but certainly not least, Pyron, Regina had obviously some very memorable moments. First of all, the idea, I think you had the right idea about trying to disrupt this apparition, and then just sort of yelling at it. The throwing the acorn really cracked me up. I was very tempted to just sort of make up like sudden, vulnerability to acorn or something, just like, but it didn't happen. And then of course the turbo speed, which I was so excited about that I jumped ahead of the spell actually succeeding from Huetel, but you having a chance to kind of rush ahead, and then just this like angry buzzing wasp kind of going back and forth in front of Brenton, I thought was fun as well. And we had the emotional moment with Boots that also affected Regina. So it was fun to see all of that. How'd you feel about the session today? Where will the fine folks follow you next?
Regina shouts at Boots once and he decides to leave the party.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
this was
seriously
totally
not
Regina's
good.
fault.
She is seriously unsure about this. But she has decided it's all the nephew's fault. All of it. And she is not to blame. So there's it. Yeah, when are people going to see me next? Well, I mean, during our next session that I'm not sure we have already decided on a
Haven't
date
quite
yet.
Not quite
Yeah.
yet.
So at least I'm up to date of that we don't have a date. And yeah, I mean, I've been very lucky to be invited to several multiplayers in the last few weeks and would be up for something like that again. And yeah, so but December with like 2 kids and lots of family to take care of is always a little bit of a stressful time in real life. But yeah, I had fun on stream the last few weeks and hope to get a little bit back into it, which I always hope, I think, like every 2 weeks when we have our sessions.
So more,
But we'll
more
see.
Barony, you say?
I love Barony. So yes, Barony, Talisman board game, Terraria, Civilization, whatever.
This is true.
There's a lot of
Talisman,
games.
yeah, and I see the Talisman board game stream. That I have to admit, my son who was watching you all play Barony was really having fun watching that, and I was like, yeah, maybe when my semester's over, maybe if you want a hapless American to mock in Barony, I could, and you'd have me. I could see that. But as a part of that, also, I'll talk about this briefly, just as a note to the players. I'm going to put a little thing in our Discord channel about scheduling, because maybe what we'll do is we'll go for 6th and the end of the month. So basically next week and the end of the month to figure that all out. But I'll put that in there to figure that out. So sorry, finish. Go ahead, Byron. Finish what you're going to say.
No, I think I'm finished. Everything sounds good. Love to play with you guys. Hope to see you again soon.
Good stuff. As always, chat, a great pleasure to be with this amazing crew. Can we get some love for the amazing GOG team of Pyron Jade and Darksaber 2K and Peripheral Mike and Undeveloped Bruce, who will be back at you in December with some more Talisman adventures as we move on to the Lady's Tomb. #SaveBoots. Love for them, and thank you so much, players. Good work, and I will see you folks soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.
Alrighty. So that is going to do it for us for today. Really fun session. I really enjoyed that a lot. I did feel really guilty. I mean, again, I wasn't trying to be overly mean, but it was just the way that things worked out. And then I was like, well, this is a really good role play moment that we can kind of lead. But I felt very bad because I don't want to just be like, I get to take away all your cool stuff. And like, as I say, I love dogs. So, anyway, it was a ton of fun, and I hope you folks enjoyed it as much as I did. In all likelihood, we are going to be doing another session of something, either Saltmarsh or Talisman Adventures next Tuesday, just because timing-wise, that the middle of the month's going to be difficult for folks. And we then may, in the end, end up doing one at the end as well, because we've got 6/13/2027. So we might do like the 6th and the 27th, and in the middle might be Road Warden. Those 2 sessions. So we'll see. We'll figure it out, but either way, Dragon Spear, #SaveBoots. That's what you missed. Saving Boots. But anyway, we also want to thank, of course, our sponsors, Pegasus Spiele, who have been so kind to us and giving us these adventures in this campaign. And we hope that we have been doing some good work. We've been doing right by it in the performance of this. I certainly think the players have been. And now they're up to level 5. And if this had happened earlier with all the Dark Fate, I could have used it to make a monstrosity of epic proportions. But anyway, if you like what you saw and heard today, chat, I hope you will consider following the channel here at GOG.com. I hope you'll consider subscribing to us as well, because that really helps out all the streamers. And I hope you will also consider clicking through and checking out our individual channels, because we have our own subsystems and Patreons and stuff like that as well. Otherwise, Fleos is going to be back to you in about 2 hours and a half, I think. Somewhere between 2 to 2.5 hours. Fleos is going to be back at you with some Lynx LS. I actually remember that. I think I may have my old 1998 Lynx LS disc over there. I think that's possible. Okay, yeah, 2.5 hours just about. I think I may have that edition somewhere, so I may check that out while I'm doing a little bit of work. But I hope you folks enjoyed it, and if so, I hope you will join us again next week on Pen and Pixels, where again, we'll either have some Talisman or Ghosts of Saltmarsh, or if none of that works out, then maybe some Road Warden. We'll see. But that's what we've got planned. I'll also be back on my own channel, possibly on Friday, although I'm going down to PAX Unplugged, which is in Philadelphia. So the Friday stream is very much up in the air and may not happen. Saturday night would be the sort of later stream, and my guess is we play some Ghost of Tsushima, which I've been enjoying a lot on my channel as well. But you should stick around for Flayos. You should head back here in a couple of hours. Otherwise, you should let all the players know how awesome they are. And I want to thank you folks for being with me for episode 352 of Pen and Pixels. Until I speak to you next time, whether it is on my channel or whether it is over here, everyone, please be good to each other, and I'll catch you folks soon. #SaveBoots. Bye for now.